welcome to episode 49 of the Player 3 podcast. I'm your host, Luke Croft, and alongside me we have the always visually stunning Larry Hunt.
Hi.
And over here on my other side, he can fix you a nice, delicious glass of Pepsi and steal your daughter's heart, ladies and gentlemen, Doug Martin.
Yeah, I'm here.
And we are the Player 3 podcast. Oh, we're
my name is Benjamin D. Hankins.
The D stands for Destiny, as in he is up Destiny's butt. But we'll get there in a little bit.
Or maybe Destiny's been up his butt and he's feeling really attached to it now.
All right, moving on. This is Benjamin D. Hankins. We love him.
He's
the
a
D
jerk.
does stand for Destiny.
Luke's a jerk to me.
Thank you.
I don't understand. Just got a differentiated opinion.
We are the Player 3 podcast. We get together every Monday to talk about video games. And then we push it out to you on youtube.com/Player3podcast and on all podcast services, iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, Blueberry, just all those different things. Leave us a review, a comment, a subscription, and all that sort of stuff. If you leave us a nice review, we'll read it out to you on the show.
Oh, leave a nice review. We'll read it out to you.
That's right. How we doing, boys?
Not sponsored by Coke, that's for sure.
I like to think that you stood at your closet and thought, what to wear today, Larry? Coke shirt. I got a joke to make.
A little Coke joke?
That's not what happened. I didn't stand at my closet. I stood in my closet.
Oh, my apologies.
And I thought, what to wear today, Larry?
I stood in
I've
my
got a
closet
joke to
because
make.
I had just woken up and I slept in my closet.
Really?
No.
It was a zany
I did that
evening.
one time. I made like a clothes fort. in my
How old were
closet.
you?
22.
Yeah. It was recent.
His wife wouldn't let him get in bed. He's like, I gotta sleep in the closet.
Can I at least sleep in the bedroom closet, please?
He's like,
I
Nicole,
didn't
come
mean
join me.
I have such a better like my couches are so much nicer than the closet. If I
That
got
is true.
Yeah.
But if you make it into a game, like you got to build this fort and defend it while you sleep.
Yeah, it's true.
Makes it better. All right. Let's get
It's
this
not the only thing I'm
podcast.
defending today.
Huh?
It's not the only thing I'm defending today.
That's right. Let's get let's get this show started like we get every show started with the releases of the week.
Releases of the week. Clap, clap.
All
Love
right. Releasing on both consoles this week, we got 4 titles. We got Back to the Future, the game 30th anniversary. 6 months after Back to the Future Part 3, the DeLorean time machine mysteriously returns to Hill Valley. Driverless.
Driverless?
Yes, Marty McFly must once again go back in time or else the space-time continuum will be forever unraveled.
What a brilliant thing to release that this month.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That's marketing.
Is it October 20... What's the date?
I thought it was the 15th.
Maybe the 15th.
Maybe I'm wrong.
And then, another blast from the past here, Goosebumps the game. The walk home from school today is going to be a lot spookier than usual. Your sleepy neighborhood's been overrun by monsters. Werewolves prowl the woods, gnomes roam underfoot, and scarecrows walk at midnight.
I am so excited about that. It looks like a choose your own adventure,
Like the old, like the series they had where you could choose your own adventure, yeah.
Yeah, give yourself goosebumps. That's what it's called. Don't make faces.
I got some goosebumps for you, Seth. Oh, thank you, Seth.
But like
You're about to be done today. First you start talking about things going places, and now you're talking about Goosebumps, and continue.
so like you read the story and you got to make decisions. It's good. Looks fun. One question though, you may not know the answer to. I cannot find a price for this game anywhere. Have you seen a price?
I have not seen a price.
It's $42.99.
I assume it's free. The game is free, everyone.
If I had to guess, I'd say $19.99. It'll probably be $20.
I don't recall there being I don't remember specific monsters from Goosebumps.
Shocker on Shock Street.
Slappy?
I guess I just
big old praying man.
Slappy the dummy?
The Abominable Snowman of Pasadena.
The Haunted Mask.
Yeah.
Have you seen the trailer for the movie?
Yeah.
The movie and the game kind of follow the same premise, where
Yeah.
it's like it's almost
okay.
it's more like Jumanji.
It's me dumb then.
Yeah, I mean, I think the game has the potential to be cool because of the choose your own adventure stuff. But the movie, it's more like Jumanji. It's not about like any particular story. It's about the monsters being unleashed from the books.
It's really kiddie and kitschy and kind
So
of
it's a
weird.
little meta going on there.
October 21st, 2015 is when Marty McFly went to.
Oh, well.
Then we have Minecraft Story Mode Episode 1. As Jesse, you'll embark on a perilous adventure across the overworld, through the nether, to the end, and beyond. While at EnderCon, in hopes of meeting Gabriel the Warrior, you and your friends discover that something is wrong, something dreadful.
Dreadful.
This game is going to make a crap ton of money. and there's going to be a lot of kids super disappointed because it's not going to be anything like the Minecraft they're used to. All right, and then we have Wasteland 2 Director's Cut from the producer of the original Fallout comes Wasteland 2, the sequel of the first ever post-apocalyptic computer RPG. The Wasteland's hellish landscape is waiting for you to make your mark or die trying.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's everything that's going to be released on both consoles. Let's move over here to the drop. You good?
The drop.
Everything
the
good?
Drop, the drop.
Sha-na-na-na-na-na.
There's a lot of
I've used that
shifting.
outlet, so I'm plugging your phone in elsewhere.
There's a lot
Oh,
of shifting
okay.
going on in the room.
Sounds great. All right, moving on. Oh, not to that one. All right, here we go. Releasing on the PlayStation 4, we have Arcade Archives Crazy Climber 2. Crazy Climber 2 is an action game that was released by Nichibutsu in 1988. The stages are set in the United States, but the same gameplay as the original applies. The climber will attempt to reach the top of buildings while characters relentlessly interfere with his progress.
That's checked up. A dude's climbing a building and you just want to mess him up?
That's right, man.
People
Like
just-
that IMAX movie about the guy walking the tightrope, but he has harnesses on, so he's not that cool.
Well,
Yeah.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Does he actually have harnesses on?
Yeah.
Huh.
What a
He lays
lame
down
man.
at one point, which is kind of weird. You ever see that part?
No.
No, I haven't
Never
actually
the thing
seen
at
it. I
all.
think I've seen like 20 seconds of a...
Yeah, I've seen a
Trailer
lot of
for it.
previews.
Then we have Bedlam. Bedlam is a unique first-person shooter based on the novel of the same name by award-winning and best-selling author Christopher Brookmeyer. You ever heard of that?
Mm-mm.
Looks like an ogre.
Then we have Dragon Quest Heroes, The World Tree is Woe, and The Blight Below. Seriously. These names should just get out of hand. Venture forth on an all-new action RPG adventure set in the world of Dragon Quest in the peaceful kingdom of Arba. Man and monster live side by side, but when the monsters suddenly snap and go on the rampage, it's up to our heroes to fight back.
I feel like Farming Simulator's been on this list 10 times.
Yeah. And I feel like last week it was on there for Vita, and this week it's on there for Vita.
Farming
Maybe last
Simulator.
last week was digital, and this week is retail.
Tractor
Vice versa. Then we have Grand Ages Medieval. Grand Ages Medieval is a real-time grand-scale strategy game that takes place in the High Middle Ages. The game begins in the year 1050 AD as you assume the role of a mayor governing a small European settlement.
Looks pretty.
And then we have the Jackbox Party Pack 2, the sequel of the party game phenomenon, the Jackbox Party Pack, featuring 5 fresh rib-tickling party games.
I feel like you're
Has
having-
anyone ever heard of this?
No, and I feel like
It
you're
sounds
having a
kinda
really
cool.
hard time pronouncing Jackbox Party Pack.
Jackbox Party Pack. Jackbox Party Pack. Jackbox. Nope, not happening.
Idiots.
Then we have One Upon Light. That seems wrong. Immerse yourself in the monochromatic world of One Upon Light. Manipulate your surroundings to cast shadows and keep yourself safe from the light.
Safe from the light?
Huh.
Yeah. It's a little different.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Metal Gear.
That's a
You don't want to get caught in the light.
Sad Satan.
Then we have the Talos Principle Deluxe Edition. The Talos Principle is a philosophical first-person puzzle game from Croteam, the creators of the Serious Sam series, and
struggling
written
today,
by
man.
Tom Jubert.
There's a lot of alliteration
Jonas,
going on here.
Jonas Kairatsis
Jonas Salk.
assume the role of a sentient artificial intelligence placed within a simulation of humanity's greatest ruins. All right, I'm ready to be done with this. 3-Force Home Extended Edition. In her mid-20s, Kelly has been forced to move back to Nebraska, back to that flat expanse, that seemingly endless sea of rustling cornstalks peppered by rusty silos and rustier towns. A typically intense Midwestern storm is approaching while Kelly is out. She needs to go home, but she can't find her way out of Oz. I added that last part. That's everything that's... Oh, no. Then WRC5. Find all the cars, all the drivers, and all the official rallies of the 2015 FIA World Rally Championship and the Racing Simulation Standard. All right. That's it. That's it for that. Show's over, guys.
Thank you
That's
for
it.
coming.
And then I don't think I found anything that was releasing exclusively on the Xbox One. So those are your releases of the week.
Releases of the week. Clap, clap.
Clappity claparoo.
All right. Let's see. Moving on. When we have some people popping off in the chat here, and
Hey,
there's
thanks for popping off, guys.
Yeah. Appreciate it. Granny Hand Grenade is Diz. If you're a member of the show regularly and you're wondering who is Granny Hand Grenade, that's just Diz. So using a different name. All right, let's move on.
Alias, if you will.
Yes.
That was a great show.
Let's move on to the news.
News with the podcast, guys. That's not helping me at all this week.
Well, I had it all to
weird.
myself last week, and I felt weird because I had to change them up a little bit. It took a lot of work.
I
Yeah.
gotcha.
On the
It's
fly.
hard. I
So that it
understand.
could be counted as a cover, and he wouldn't have to be paid royalties for it.
Yeah, because I ain't paying you. Grab.
All right, first item on the list: Far Cry Primal revealed for 2016 release. This is from Polygon. It says Far Cry Primal will arrive on February 23rd, 2016 on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One in March 2016 on Windows PC. Ubisoft revealed today after day-long tease on its YouTube channel. In Far Cry Primal, players will take on the role of Takar, the sole survivor of an ambush on his hunting group, according to a post on Ubisoft's official blog. Quote, like any good hunter, Takar carries an extensive set of survival skills, including the ability to craft tools and weapons from the bones of the beast he slays and the resources he gathers in the wild. These are not only crucial for his own safety against predators, both human and animal, they're also essential in maintaining the safety of his tribe. Takar will need to guard his fledgling group carefully to ensure its survival and growth. So, interesting. We got Far Cry 4 last November. So this is going to happen about a year and a few months afterwards. Totally different concept. Far Cry is kind of focused on explosions and weapons and all that sort of stuff. So
Driving fast cars.
As you guys were looking through these pictures and through this information, what were your thoughts?
Everyone else go first.
You go, Ben, because you look real excited
Yes,
about this.
this game looks freaking amazing. I played Far Cry 3, and I really enjoyed Far Cry 3. Like, that was a lot of fun. I kind of got bored with it, though, because I was fighting a bunch of gangsters on an island, which is kind of...
A bunch of tropical gangsters
It was
wearing Hawaiian shirts and
Right.
eating pigs.
right. Oh, no, it was just weird. But I am very, very interested in seeing like what can come of that like the mechanic of Far Cry in a like primitive thing. That's really interesting to me. I'm super excited about it.
Did any of you ever play like the super cheesy like 80s action movie version of Far Cry? Things like called Blood Dragon or something?
Oh no, I saw it though. I saw the
Like, I'm getting off track, but this game does look awesome. Graphically, it looks amazing. It looks like a lot of fun. This is a time period I've never really played in, like,
yeah.
without it being modified in some weird way, but like survival in like the early existence of humanity. So I'm excited about that, and I'm really impressed with just the diversity of things they're willing to do, because they had that weird 80s action movie. I've never played one of their games, but this one I may pick up. But I saw also that they had considered a zombie apocalypse, and they've considered a Mad Max dystopian kind of thing. So we'll probably see a lot of neat stuff out of them.
It's Far Cry. Well, I don't know. Until Dawn kind of reminded me a little bit of like how Far Cry is. It's not the same. Like it's not really heavy based on free running. There's not a day-night cycle that is contingent on like where you are. That's not that kind of stuff's not the same.
You talking about Dying Light?
Yeah, Dying Light. I don't know why I said Until Dawn.
Okay.
Yeah, Dying Light.
I was super confused.
Yeah, but like your like gathering resources and crafting stuff like that's pretty similar. And I don't know. That was just really fun, like the mini game-esque kind of thing. I like those open world kind of games though, so that's really cool. And having this game be like an open world type game it's a cool little way to explore like the primitive time and like see things through a different light, which is pretty neat. I like that side of it.
I feel like as a concept, it is something that we haven't really seen a ton of, but I also feel like we're kind of snowballing into a time where we're going to see several different takes on maybe not that time period, but the concept of primitive living between Far Cry Primal, Horizon Zero Dawn.
Does not have robot dinosaurs. Those are not robot
That's
dinosaurs.
right, not robot. They may be robots and they may look like dinosaurs, but they are not robot dinosaurs. We've got the PlayStation 4 exclusive game Wild that's going to be coming out that kind of takes place. You have the game from the guy who used to work on Assassin's Creed that takes place in like the whole primitive, I think it's called Ancestors. And so it's like this era, this concept we haven't really seen in games, at least in a while, to the point where we may see 4 games in 2016 tackle that, which is really interesting to me. And because obviously these people weren't all talking about this concept to begin with, and I think it just speaks to how we may be getting worn out on the futuristic stuff. Micro up here, I believe, mentioned something. He said, I don't care for those futuristic games. They always seem to be set in the dark. I don't like the dark. I liked Age of Empires 2, also Civ Rev 5 with the expansion packs. That was good also. So I think a lot of people are kind of, and the industry itself is agreeing somewhat that, like, all right, maybe it's time to take a step away from the futuristic idea and find our roots again. And some of the things that are interesting within this, and they've talked about it on almost every podcast I've listened to, and I thought it was interesting too, was the idea of, like, it's a made-up caveman language that they're speaking essentially during this game. And so,
You mean we haven't figured out how to speak caveman yet?
that's right. And one of the points that Marty Sleeve on Beyond and on Unlock brought up was how cool would it be if you could just turn off the subtitles and see them, because back then it wasn't really that there was an agreed upon way of communicating. It was more of making sounds and gestures to try to get people to feel, and seeing, like, if they could create the story of the game and the emotion behind the game without the need for developed language, and really kind of immerse yourself in the idea of primitive living.
That would be cool for a little while, but I feel like after maybe like an hour or two of playing it, I'd be like, "What are you saying, man? I can't understand."
Tell her you love her.
I don't imagine I don't imagine this game is going to be very cutscene heavy.
Yeah.
Though, at least not dialogue cutscene heavy. There may be some, like, action.
Yeah.
I mean,
cutscenes.
that seems like Far Cry is a lot like that in general, right? I mean, Diz would know more than anyone else in this room, I think. But from what I've played before, it's mostly just kind of you go to a mission, there's like a brief little cutscene, and it's not really even a cutscene. It's just kind of someone speaking to you directly, and from the first person. So I could see something. You're talking to some Neanderthal, and he's like, Googa. And then you have a blip on your radar, and you got to go figure out what you have to do.
You come up to these traders. Imagine trading with this system. And so this guy's got all these things, but you don't know what they are. And, like, you're trying to figure out, and he sets this steaming hot beverage on the dash. And you're like, what is that? What's a dash?
That's a really good point, because it's really interesting, because what is the currency? Like, it seems like you would have to trade your weapons and things that you build.
It's
things
just
like
everything.
that. Some supplies, things like that. But it's not like you're selling your supplies for a currency that you use in exchange to buy something else. I don't know.
I imagine it's probably more about, because I don't know if it was really trade and barter in the caveman times either. It was more about being able to find your own resources and craft your own objects. And so I would love to see it focus more on those sorts of skills rather than just trying to gather something in order to go get a different weapon. But, like, okay, I have a spear. I need these ingredients. These are these components. This is the way that I get it. I would also like to see and make sure that but not make sure. I would like to see what their idea of the HUD for this game would be, because you mentioned the radar and the map, and it's like those things don't exist yet. Like, what is navigation and traversal across this world going to be like? How are you going to know where to go? How deep are they going to push the idea that, like, it's primitive? You don't have anything. And I think that could get really interesting. I don't know how they would do it.
It could, yes. It'll be interesting to see if it does. Hope it will be.
They might just cheat, and you've got a radar anyway. And
I mean, like, a radar. It's something. I mean, real talk. Do we, we're playing Grand Theft Auto 5, and you have a radar. Do we have a radar on us at all times, telling you where to go, and you can call it a GP? Yeah, we do, Seth.
Let's just, take today for instance. Just because you have it and you don't know how to use it doesn't mean you don't have it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
We drove around Greensboro
a lot.
With a GPS, still not knowing where we were going. It was pretty awesome.
That's cool.
I think this game looks cool, though. Really interested to see more coming out of it. All right, next item on the list. Phil Spencer admits that the PS4 has a huge lead and that they may struggle to catch up. All right.
Friend of the show.
What's that?
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show, Phil Spencer.
Yeah, friend of the show, sorry. This comes from an article over at GameSpot. It says the PlayStation has a, quote, huge lead over the Xbox One, according to the Xbox boss and friend of the show from Player 3 Podcast, Phil Spencer. An advantage that is so large right now that he's unsure if Microsoft's console can ever catch up. Spencer's candid comments came during a panel at the 2015 GeekWire Summit, as reported by Video Gamer. When Spencer was asked if he thought the Xbox One could outsell the PS4 this generation, he replied, quote, I don't know. The length of the generation, they, referring to Sony, have a huge lead and they have a good product. I love the content, the games lineup that we have, end quote. The head of Xbox went on to say that the situation surrounding the Xbox One's launch, marked by dramatic policy reversals and controversial comments from executives who have since left the company, had a negative effect on the platform's ability to have a strong start. Understatement of the year. We're gonna put that in the running for it. In fact, Spencer admitted that Microsoft, quote, fundamentally lost the trust of our most loyal customers, end quote. Whether it's always on, used games, whatever the feature was, we lost the trust in them that that they were at the center of our decision-making process. Were we building a product for us, or were we building a product for the gamers? And as soon as the question came into people's minds and they looked at anything, whether it was the power of our box, our launch lineup, microtransactions, any of the features that you talked about, what you find is very quickly you lose the benefit of the doubt. You lose customers' assumption that the reason you're building your product is to delight them and not just build a better and more maybe manipulative product. And then he just continues to talk about the launch and their situation in the market now. What are you guys' thoughts about what Phil Spencer has said here? Because there's truth in it, and PS4 has a huge lead. Like, there's no doubt about it. They're at the top of the MPD almost every month since the launch of the console. I think 6 or 7 months are the only months that Xbox One has taken first place. So, like, there's some truth in it, but how do you guys feel like this response? What do you feel about this response?
I think there is truth in it. I think the way that he's talking there, I think he was kind of caught off guard by the question because he seems to be stumbling over what he's saying a little bit. And I don't know. It is a very overwhelming lead, I feel like, and I don't. If he'd gone the opposite direction, oh yeah, we can definitely catch him. Like, that's just going to be perceived as boastful and prideful, and so I think there's nothing wrong with his response. I know some of you are going to have issue with that, but I'm fine with his response. But he kind of tacked onto that. Our goal is not beating Sony; it's making the customers happy, and that should be their goal. And I'm glad they're saying that. But I wonder if that would be the goal if they weren't in last place. I wonder if this is like, hey, we're winning. Oh, well, I wasn't really playing.
Right. Yeah, I struggle with this comment because I think we all agree, like, Phil Spencer seems like a kind of dude you can sit down and have lunch with, who can sit on your couch and play games with you. He seems like a guy's guy. He seems really polite and like he is really concerned for fans. But I also think there comes a point where you can be too polite and speak against what your company exists to do, which is to sell products and to be confident in the product that you have. And I mean, he brought up the launch of the Xbox and how it kind of, it fell flat on its face. But the PS3 had the same exact issues. And there was bad marketing, stupid executives, people saying dumb things from the stage at E3 during the reveal. And the PS3 out of the gate, like, sputtered. And by the end of the console, that console generation, the PS3 had overtaken the Xbox as the top-selling console. And it was because of confident move-making and consistent belief in your product. And I'm not saying Phil Spencer doesn't believe in the product, but when you start saying that I don't know if we can catch up, people can hear that as I don't really believe in the product. And, I mean, we're engaged with everything that he says in an interview pretty much. And so we know.
Love you, Phil.
People who just get that article and read that article, it's like, well, you have to have some moxie about you. You have to put up a little bit of a fight. And you also have to be able to look and see, like, PlayStation 3 did it. Why can't we do it? And I don't there's a middle ground from being like, I don't think we'll ever catch up, and being like, we're the greatest console out there. We're going to catch up. Like, there's a middle ground to say, like, we recognize and understand that we're behind, and we feel like we've grown as a company, but for being behind, but we also feel like we're growing at such a pace that we can be competitive and we can maybe catch them. And I think that shows like we have confidence in our product while also having a realism about where we've been.
I think I'm in agreement with you, Larry. I think the competition's good. Like, I think it's important that they strive to be better, or to at least sell on par with PlayStation. But I think if the determining factor to their success is always, are we outselling Sony, then they lose sight of like making their customers happy. And I think it's important that they make that as priority. I don't know. I don't know necessarily what I think about whether or not he meant every bit of what he said in this interview. Like, I think and some of it maybe saying what he thinks and then trying to save face at the end. but there's situations where it's important to say what you think, and I don't know that this was probably the best area to say. I don't know if we'll ever catch up to him or not, but I think when you put too much stock in being number one, you lose a lot of sight of creative vision, and you lose a lot of sight of making your customers happy. And because you can make a console that would sell to outpace Sony, and it'd be a crap console. So I think just looking at what the customers want and worrying more about that than whether or not they're beating Sony is a good thing.
Yeah, and I agree that like their main motivation shouldn't be like, all right, well, how do we outsell Sony? Because then what you do is you stifle your own innovation, because you start looking at the moves Sony's making and you're like, well, we're just going to make the moves they're making because it's successful for them. But competition exists to
You need some coffee, man?
but competition exists to spur one another along, to find new ways and fashion new grooves in the market. So being aware of PlayStation 4 and trying to chase after PS4, I think, are two different things. And obviously, Phil Spencer is aware of PlayStation 4, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to say like we would like to outsell them, because what's better for your customer base than to say like, hey, when you log on to play Halo, there's 15 million people that are playing it, and like it's better that there are more Xbox Ones out in the wilderness, and it's better for them as a company as well. So I don't necessarily think it would be a bad thing to say like, well, we want to outsell Sony because we want people to know like this is the biggest and the best place to play. So, your thoughts, Seth?
I agree with all of it.
Would you like us to start over with the?
Oh, no. I was resting my eyes. No, but in all reality, I kind of agree with both points. It's kind of like weird, but in the theater back in the day in high school, they kind of tell you, our director would say, no matter what you feel about the show that you're doing, and this applies to anything you do in life, like whether you work in a restaurant, whether you anything that is going to create a public perception, you want to positively represent it. So someone asks you if how you like the show, how is it, something like that. You say, oh, it's great. Like we've been loving every second of it. Everything's great behind the scenes, and you leave out all the parts about people getting in knife fights and behind the curtain before opening night, and
That happens a ton.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that was pretty much every day of high school.
Every day of high school. And just like all like the kids who can't read their lines because they're too busy throwing up, they're so nervous in the bathroom. You leave all that stuff out, and you just like put out a positive vibe in the atmosphere for the people to soak up. Now, again, but I don't think this is really a bad thing for Phil to say. Again, like he's just kind of acknowledging and being down to earth, which he is well known for. He's just trying to say, like, look, Sony's doing a really good job, and despite all their faults and the things they've done in the past, they seem to be repping this system really well, and it's selling a lot of products, and we've got a lot of room to catch up. Can we? I don't know. And I mean, but it's like I said, anytime you put any negative juju out in the atmosphere, it's gonna reverberate, and people are gonna take it the wrong way, and there's no winning.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, PlayStation made a move that makes them even more competitive going into the holiday season. We've talked about this, the price drop of the PlayStation 4. It was something that was announced at Tokyo Game Show for the Japanese market. It was something that Phil Spencer said was probably going to come to North America if trends follow as trends follow, and then it was leaked by Target. Well, now it's been made official. In North America, you can. This is from GameSpot. In North America, you can now buy a PlayStation 4 starting at $350. The $350 price cut. $350 price cut.
Wow!
Right now, $50, baby.
I'm buying 8 tonight.
The $50 price cut was announced yesterday and goes into effect today at retailers across the United States and Canada. With the price cut, the PS4 is now offered at the same starting price as the Xbox One going into the holiday season, and then they detail some of the collections here. You can get the bundle that comes with Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection for $349.99. You can get the 1 terabyte console that comes with Call of Duty Black Ops 3 for $429.99. The Disney Infinity 3.0 for $400. The Star Wars Battlefront bundle, which is the limited edition one, for $400. The non-limited edition is $350, and then a Canadian-only bundle. And
it's so great that that's the NHL 16 with
Yeah.
the.
So, your thoughts on the price drop?
Makes sense.
told
When
you.
mom and dad are like, well, this one's cheaper, they're going to buy the cheaper one. So, all right. Now that's not an option.
Yep. And the more and more we see games like Call of Duty kind of back away from the last gen consoles, like you have Black Ops isn't going to include the campaign in the last generation. More and more people are going to be looking to make the jump now as they're starting to see the big franchises are pulling away. Now, we'll probably get Madden and FIFA on these things for the next 5 years. But in terms of the other really big titles, people are like, well, it's time to make the jump, and I think it makes sense for PlayStation. I'm coming around on the idea because at first I was like, why? Why would you need to? You're already selling like hotcakes. Why you need to drop the price?
It's aggressive marketing.
That's right.
People really
It's
buy hotcakes
aggressive
so much?
reduction.
I don't know, man. You ever had McDonald's hotcakes?
Those
Hotcakes
are
are
pretty baller.
delicious.
Yeah,
Can
they're
you get
good.
those all day? No?
Yeah.
Do they call them hotcakes there?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
I don't feel like enough people call them hotcakes.
You ever gotten hotcakes from clearances?
I don't even know what a clearance is.
I don't even know what a clearance is.
Who is clearance and what does he do?
He sells a lot of good meats
And hotcakes.
and hotcakes. Those hotcakes are jam.
Oh, there are a lot of old ladies everywhere in this town. Like, they're all over the place.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I was dating my college girlfriend and we took her to that joint, and
It's nerve-wracking because when they bring you your food, you're afraid they're gonna like pass out and die.
well they bring no matter how many plates there are, they bring them out on carts, so they're good. They have support for the plates and for themselves. But this poor little lady had a dead fly in her hair, and it was just straight up standing on top of her hairspray, and like her perm. Yeah, like seriously, and this was this girl's first time in like Martinsville, and she's in clearance.
yeah.
And then
Somebody ate that fly later today.
ate it up.
It was dropped in their mac salad.
And then the hidden snake in her hair came out and ate the fly and slid it back down, and they'd never be seen again.
This was a weird detour.
How do we get here?
But I liked it.
Did you like it?
I enjoyed
That's
it.
the main thing.
I wanted to ask you guys a question. Back really quickly to Phil Spencer's comments.
Yes.
It's a really great place to eat, though.
Do you guys do you think the Xbox One can catch the PlayStation 4? Where we stand right now?
No.
No, I don't. Not this generation.
They can this generation, but something dramatic would have to happen.
It would have to be like a super, like, very very awesome exclusive.
Quantum Leap's going to have to just crack some skulls.
But we're still where
You don't even know the name of it, so isn't it Quantum Break?
It is. Quantum Leap. Quantum Leap is an 80s television show.
we're still where PlayStation was last gen. Like we're not outside of the window where it kind of looked hopeless for them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it can be done.
I think it can be done. I think it's edging towards impossible, but I really think Xbox in this holiday season is set up to do something to make up some ground. They've just been announcing bundles left and right. You can get any game in a bundle pretty much now.
It smells like desperation, though.
Sometimes
The people can smell it.
Desperate times
If you ever
call for
like,
desperate measures.
you know, like the syndrome where like you've been single for a really long time, and you know, like no girls want to have anything to do with you. And like,
never heard of
and
this.
then like, you never heard of this?
No.
It's like, it's very well known.
So the idea is he hasn't had a girlfriend in a while. There must
No,
be a
not
reason?
not even that. I had this conversation with my boss the other day. No weird detour. Let's just roll with it. Just let me talk. Let me have some fun.
He's like, I didn't put anything in the show
I
notes.
took-
so
I
I
took
might
a-
as well just start sharing some personal stories.
I took a 30-second nap. What do we got to do? So anyway, so basically the thing is like you're single, and girls like don't want to like talk to you or anything like that, like or they don't want to. But all of a sudden, yeah. Then all of a sudden you get a girlfriend, and like the first week. Like 6 girls are calling you up, and your parents are having to turn them away. This is like middle school, by the way, just so you know. Like, is Seth home?
This is middle school in the 1950s. They got boys calling up to the house.
That's how it worked up until cell phones.
My family didn't have a cell phone until I was in high school.
Yeah.
I didn't get one until I was.
I guess I'm in the first part.
But
of this.
anyway, I'm trying to remember what the analogy was.
We're talking about.
We're all
bundles.
all set. Don't worry.
Okay, desperation.
Desperation.
So it's kind of the same thing. People smell the
Fear.
desperation. They sense it. There are pheromones out in the air, and those pheromones change depending on your state of being. And since Xbox isn't in the lead anymore, I just made Luke miserable.
Ooh,
Ben,
I have.
I mean, Seth, I'm going to be totally honest with you. I didn't understand anything.
Did you?
Kinda. Remember this point though. Here's the thing. Remember this, because I'm gonna bring this back up later.
Diz got it.
Oh my god.
I am.
I understand.
I promise I'm going to.
So what you're saying is nobody wanted the Xbox, and now one person wants the Xbox, but there's not enough to go around.
No,
No,
the
he's
Xbox
saying
is the
that-
single person, and nobody wants it.
Yeah.
He's saying that-
Xbox is that boy in the corner over there, and he doesn't have the confidence to get a date. But all of a sudden, one day maybe a girl's gonna take a chance on him, and he's gonna be the belle of the ball.
Bell of the ball.
Hey, Gary! Diz said that he got the analogy. We're on the same
I
wavelength.
somewhat understand.
I mean, I know what
the
pheromones are.
analogy. I know it starts with an F.
It's a brass instrument.
All right, let's talk about the Xbox Elite controller for a moment, because they really didn't reveal details. It was just a video that was shown that showed off some of the stuff, the rear paddles and the button mapping and the ability to customize your vibration and stuff on both the in-pack and in the triggers. Are you guys even interested in that controller?
No.
No.
I kind of am.
Go ahead, Ben, because me
Okay.
and you agree on it.
I-
Agree here.
I like this controller. I like the idea of it. The only problem with me is Xbox is not my primary console. Like, I don't play most of my games on Xbox. I play most of them on PS4. So for me, it doesn't really make a whole lot of difference until PlayStation comes out with one of these. But I always like the idea of being able to have more control over what's happening at the moment. I always like the idea of having more control over things and being able to control the things in the way I'd like to, especially with different games, because there's a lot of different control schemes for different games. So you want to make sure you don't go into it blind, and you can set it the way you want to set it. And I think I would expect you would really be excited about this, Larry, because you like playing
Yeah, I
Halo a
mess with
certain
all
way,
this stuff.
right? And all your buttons are different, and you can set with the app. The way I understood it in the description was you can set up on the app your game in a certain configuration, and then like save up to like 400 or something of those. Is that what they
The
said?
controller stores 2 at a time, but
And it's got that switch. That's the cool part.
Yeah.
but the somehow you can store up. I thought it was 200, but it is definitely some.
So you
somewhere
can,
in
so
there.
you
it's
can have your
something
Way more than
boxer.
you're ever gonna need.
Yeah.
So you could have your Halo boxer scheme in there.
I
and
could
then
tweak my Halo
the
scheme
regular.
better than it is now.
Mm.
Boxer is the best I can get, but
I can have all the triggers set to shoot. You can.
You really can.
And so you go to shoot your AR, and it just kind of explodes.
all of my buttons are shoot.
I just like this a lot because it's like it gives me more control, and it makes me feel like I am in control of my controller meta.
Will you be spending 100? What is it?
No,
What's the price point on it?
I'm not gonna buy one.
150.
$150.
I won't buy
Yeah.
one.
It comes
Yeah.
with its own carrying case, though, doesn't it?
I think so.
That's a deal.
I don't care about the controller, but that is the thing that appeals to me, and I long for the day where we just have that option. Like, you can do it on the PC, make your controllers do whatever you want them to do. Like, just give me that with the Xbox.
Yeah.
Let me set it to what I want it to do. So that appeals to me, and I know it's real dumb, but I really like the D-pad on that thing.
The D-pad does look awesome.
I hope they put that on a different controller. That's not $150.
We may just have completely different like aesthetic
You guys aren't even friends,
things.
really.
That's why they sit on opposite ends of the table.
Mhm.
Because you guys love that control. I hate that. I think that D-pad looks stupid, and I love a lot of the consoles that you guys hate. We must be just aesthetically different.
I don't care how it looks, like aesthetically, like it looks very practical. Like in fighting games, I'm really awful at doing the combos. I have to go left and diagonal and down, but like you can see very clearly, and it's beveled like this, and it just looks like it'll be more responsive.
Yeah,
That's what appeals to me about it.
Because I always suffer in fighters, especially like Mortal Kombat, Injustice, things like that with the D-pads, because they just don't respond the way that I want them to.
Yeah. I never play fighters, so I don't know why I care, but I do.
Mhm.
well, you can tweak a lot of
Just
it.
in case, you know.
Yeah.
That's my thing about this is I'm. Well, you guys know me. Like something new comes out, I'm like, I gotta have that thing, and then I'll get it, and then I'll never set up anything on it. It's just that's my controller with the cool D-pad on it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm not particularly good at first-person shooters or anything like that, and so I don't need that much like tweaked control. But just knowing that you can have that much tweaked control is cool to me. And it's got all these interchangeable parts. You can get longer thumbsticks. You can get different triggers on it. You can adjust the triggers to register either more sensitively, or you have to push down harder for them to register. There's just so much customization in it. It's like, I may not ever use it, but I might.
And you have it if you decide to.
That's right. The cool thing I like about it, and it's something I like about my my gold headset, is that you can balance the audio different in the gold headset, and developers will put out custom EQ mixes for it, and you can download it to get the best sound experience out of the game. And I use that. I use that a lot of times. But the fact that developers will put together control schemes specifically for the Xbox One Elite controller would make it more accessible to me to see, like, okay, well, maybe that's something I can tweak in all of my first-person shooter games that'll make me better. So there's some things about it that make it cool, but I'm like, I'll wait for it to just be the standard controller.
That would tick me off, because I'd be like, why didn't the developers just put the control scheme in the game?
Well, but you have some things that aren't available on your regular controller.
Oh, so if you add the extra buttons.
If you add the extra back buttons,
Gotcha.
or even I think even with the triggers and stuff, like they are more sensitive. Like in the D-pad is more accurate. Like it's better hardware. You're not just paying for the customization ability behind it. So like the trigger stuff, the trigger sensitivity, you wouldn't be able to get that same level of detail out of the hardware of your standard Xbox controller. I don't imagine. Maybe I'm wrong, or maybe I'm right.
There's only one way to find out.
And as much as I don't want to
Ben's
pay
gotta buy
$150
three.
for it, I said a couple weeks ago, like ideally I would love to see a controller where my thumbs are on the sticks and everything else is on the back of the controller.
But you could set it up to be that way.
I know.
Essentially,
That's what appeals, but it doesn't appeal $150.
does it appeal enough for us to go steal one?
By halvesies.
I've always wanted to steal something.
It's Columbus Day, man.
Oh,
You just walk right in and you're like, I discovered the Xbox One Elite controller. It is now mine.
Do you have to give the employees smallpox?
It helps.
It's a prerequisite.
You don't have to, but that's one of those things you don't really control. It just kind of happens.
Blankets are just wild.
It's like, hey, Cedric, would you like to share this blanket with me?
What?
He just killed the GameStop manager. Isn't that a joke? Moving
Her name
on.
is Cindric.
I still haven't met that person. It's the one that the girl was.
Her name is Cindric?
No.
All right, let's talk about companies wanting your money. All right?
This is gonna be a long
No, it's gonna be a
conversation.
long- Buckle your seatbelts.
Conversation.
What? Let me kind of preface these two conversations for a second.
It's 3 conversations,
We-
actually. I sent you a text with the other one.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, go ahead and
Yeah,
preface.
too late. I don't know. Let me preface this ensuing debate We love each other here at the Player 3 Podcast.
Wise, I don't.
And we're gonna duke it out here pretty soon. But just remember, out there in TV land, we love each other, and we will leave this podcast, friends, if it kills us.
All right, and Halo 5 is adding microtransactions in. This is from GameSpot. Everything in Halo 5 Guardian's new REQ system can be earned through traditional gameplay. But if you'd like to get going faster, you will be able to pay real-world money for that convenience. In a blog post, 343 Industries revealed pricing details for the game's various REQ packs and talked more about how they work. And then details some of the pricing. For $3, you can get 10,000 RP. For $2, you can get 5,000. And then 343 explained that in-game pricing has been set so that players can afford at least one REQ pack for every other game played. You should expect to earn about 2,000 RP for every Warzone game played, meaning it won't take very long to reach silver or gold status. In addition, everyone gets 7,500 RP to start. On top of these 3 REQ packs, Microsoft will offer a Warzone REQ bundle, which comes with 2 premium packs every week for 7 weeks. This bundle is included with the Halo 5 premium bundles, or it can be purchased separately for $25. In addition, 343 isn't taking all of Halo microtransaction revenue for itself. A portion of the proceeds of all REQ packs will be added to the Halo World Championship prize pool. For lots more, check out the blog post. So they're adding these microtransactions in that purchase things in the game that can all be unlocked via playing the game. And if I understand, well, let me continue reading because he quote it. Kevin Franklin, design director over at 343, he says, quote, everything you can get in the REQ system you can earn whether you spend money or not. There's no crazy special items that are only going to be reserved for people who spend a lot more money. Also, you get a lot of rewards whether you're playing Arena or Warzone. So you're always going to have a ton of stuff that you'll be able to use. The biggest thing for us, the moment we started even talking about this system, was that the game has to be balanced. At the end of the day, it's a multiplayer game. It's not a spend more to win game. We wanted to make sure that if you spend a whole lot of money and you thought you could get 5 scorpions just because you spent more money, it's not going to work. You're still going to have to earn the right to call these scorpions into the battlefield. Quote, so we have a mid-session progression loop, which any MOBA player will be familiar with. So all of us should be familiar because we all play so many MOBAs. You have to level your character up in-game, every game, by killing enemies, going after AI, and contributing to your team. Then you'll unlock the ability to use these cards. So if you have 10 scorpions, you can just call in 10 scorpions. You actually have an energy system in that leveling system, and he just goes on to talk about how they nerfed the system.
A bunch of nonsense.
So
It is a bunch of nonsense. That's right.
because I think it's confusing. I think it's kind of confusing.
In fact, hearing you read it the second time has changed some of my thoughts on this because
Okay.
I didn't grasp some of it.
So explain to me what you heard.
What I heard is a guy trying desperately to convince you that that it will not be pay to win. When the reality is, although there's a limit to what they can do within an individual match, there's not a limit to the resources they can have. Whereas if you just play the game straight up, there is a limit to the resources you're going to have.
Okay,
So it is pay to win, but we don't want you to view it as pay to win.
right. So it's like you unlock the ability to carry in 10 strikes, and you can unlock that ability, or you can unlock being able to carry in the strikes, but it's going to be a lot slower if you don't pay for them.
Yeah.
So you may have the ability to carry in 10, but if you don't pay for it, you may only come in with 2, whereas if you pay for it, you can come in with 10.
It doesn't sound like it's a lot slower. I mean, it said like within a couple of matches worth of play.
But
I can earn something every other match, or I can have one every match. So twice.
double the amount.
I can double the stuff. That's significant in my opinion.
Yeah. I don't understand this sort of stuff. Now, on Halo 5, are there going to be map packs that we have to buy? Is the game going to ship with Halo 4?
I thought that they said that the maps were going to be free.
Okay,
I remember
did they?
hearing that. I
didn't
believe
know.
I
couldn't
heard
remember
that.
if they said that.
Which helps me. I mean, this eases me into that a little bit more. I don't see the. I don't know. I don't see it being that big a deal.
As much as I whine about map packs, I'd rather have map packs than this, though.
Yeah.
Well, they had this in Advanced Warfare. Somewhat. You bought the crates. Can you buy the crates?
I don't know if you could buy those or not. Actually.
I think I remember you being able to buy crates because I pre-ordered it and I got the shader for Destiny for pre-ordering it, and then I decided to get it because I pre-ordered it, and I ended up getting like free money for crates.
So they suckered you. That's what they did. They wanted you to pre-order that
You
game.
thought you were suckering them, but
Yeah,
they
you were like,
suckered
I'm just
you.
going to pre-order it to get the thing. And
I
then
suckered
excited
them.
to, yeah.
I did that.
And then the
And
suckeree
canceled it.
becomes the sucker.
The sucker become.
The suckered becomes the sucker.
That's
Finish your point, though, I'm
That's
sorry.
a low D in there. But anyway, yeah, back again. I just don't think it's gonna be that big of a deal. I mean, I can take out a scorpion with my bare hands.
You can.
Literally. I mean, not literally, but with your game hands. You jump on the back of that sucker, you punch it a lot.
I can kill a scorpion. with my hands.
Depending on the competence of the driver.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see how this all plays out, of course. But
I was glad to see them take away the random drops on the map.
yeah, man.
But
From 4.
essentially, they haven't, actually, is what I'm picking up from
Mhm.
this. It's kind of like JK, and also if you pay for it, you can get more drops on the map, which is worse than the original system that I hated.
Yeah, at first I was kind of like, all right, whatever, if it can all be earned in game and it's as fast as they're saying. But then when we read it out loud, I'm like, nah, this is bullcrap. Like, if I can be guaranteed to go in with an ability to do something devastating to the other team 10 times, or I have to play a couple games in order to have that ability, then that is pay to win.
Yeah.
And just being like, hey, it's not pay to win doesn't make it. It's like being like, hey, I'm not being racist, but super racist thing that I'm saying. Like, and
What are you looking at me?
We all know why he's looking at you, Ben. And if you haven't, it sounds like within the match, you've got to play well enough to earn the right to use the stuff. So you're going to have the supply, but you've got to earn the right to use it. So there is a limitation there. But
But let's be honest, though.
we're all equal. Just some of us are more equal than others.
If you're the kid who's stealing your mom's credit card and you're playing 15 hours a day on this game, you're going to be decent enough to drop in 8 scorpions a match.
just because you play all day and you can steal your mom's credit card means you're good at Halo?
Well, I'm just saying, like, the amount of time you put into it, sometimes
Reminds me of-
I play Halo a lot and I suck.
Reminds me of the good old days of Mike Keller. Mary brought me, man.
Mary brought me.
He used to steal her credit card all the time to buy things on Xbox Live subscriptions and whatnot.
Milky513 says, I agree, it's paid to win. To me, it's basically the high-maintenance girlfriend who knows she's high-maintenance but doesn't want to be called high-maintenance.
You
Hey,
right?
guys,
You
it's
right?
not pay to win, even though it's pay to win, but please, don't call it pay to win.
But pay to win.
I do like they mentioned one thing in there that's like the leveling stipulation, like you have to still level yourself up to the point to where you can do these things, which is
Which is a little bit of
I mean, I kind of
diamonds in the dung pot.
right. I mean, I kind of think that's good.
Did you just?
I kind of think that's a good
No,
concession.
Thomas Jefferson said that about the Bible.
That's right.
That's a decent concession to make, I guess. I don't know, but here's the thing: I don't like this at all. I think the side of microtransactions where it makes a game to the point where you cannot play it without purchasing, or you can't play it to the highest level without purchasing these things, makes it not good to me.
And I don't think we'll know for sure if that's how this will work till it comes out, but I'm very wary of it, and I'm very disappointed in 343 for going this route.
My thing is, like, if you're designing a micro transaction model and you have to figure out how to balance it, that means there is a likelihood that it will be unbalanced, even if you've thought through it, because everything works different in the real world than it works theoretically when we're designing it. That's why I am all just about, like, hey, our microtransactions are solely limited to cosmetic things. Like, hey, you can get, the only way to get this helmet is if you pay $1 for it or something like that. I am better with that sort of stuff than with something where it's like going in, we may have to readdress it in 2 weeks because, oh, we didn't think that part through.
I don't know, man. Last time 343 put out a game, they had everything figured out right from the get-go.
Yeah. I don't remember ever having to, like, wait for a game in the Master Chief Collection. I don't remember buying it in November, but only being able to play it in February. Oh, all right. Moving on to more companies that want more of your money.
Wait, you didn't skip. You skipped the earlier thing he wanted to mention.
What?
One thing I did want to mention before you jump there is I do like the idea that all of this money isn't just going back to 343. That some of it is going into the prize pot for the championship for the tournaments that they have, because Halo is really trying to set itself up as a serious contender in esports and competitive gaming, and that legitimizes it even more.
Do you like that, knowing that some of those guys will be buying more of these packs to do better to win
That's
some of the money
going to be the
back?
thing I want to see. Is that going to be disallowed in tournament play?
Oh.
Because if that's disallowed in tournament play, then it's because it's unbalanced.
I would think so. I would think they would disallow it.
I do too.
It reminds me of that conversation we had earlier about telling the police officer when you get pulled over that you pay his salary, so he should let you go.
I told his friend that is of the female persuasion that that's the best way to get out of a ticket is to tell the police officer you pay his salary.
I think the best way is to just crap yourself and be like, officer, I'm having a huge accident right now.
Help!
And then you sue him for $50,000.
What?
Continue. I'm sorry.
Public humiliation.
Oh, no. I think it was over.
Okay. All right. Moving on to your point.
Do we want to save that for a more cheerful time? Because it's kind of in the middle of this.
No, this is cheerful because you were in such a dark place in the Halo universe.
All right. It's no secret that I'm real ticked off at Halo because they've taken split screen out and I can't play this game with my wife that I've been playing with her for like almost a decade now.
And now they have to divorce.
And our marriage is ruined. I don't know where my child's going to wind up.
Thanks a lot, 4343.
Yeah. Anyway, so I've got this staunch mindset that I'm not going to buy this game. And like they keep putting out these really cool videos about this game, and then today they released the new trailer for it, and like
to end all trailers.
My resolve is crumbling because this trailer is awesome, and they've picked Muse's "Knights of Sidonia" as the song. No One's Gonna Take Me Alive, like perfect song for this story. Gosh, it's so epic. Go watch it right now. Huh?
Is that one of the Muse songs from Twilight?
The link in the chat.
Muse did songs for Twilight.
Oh yeah.
I don't like music.
Almost exclusively.
Oh gosh, that's disappointing. Anyway, I doubt it, but maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. All right, moving on to more companies that want your money. Bungie wants your money. They're starting a new microtransaction campaign. This is from GameSpot. Bungie is introducing microtransactions to its sci-fi shooter Destiny. Detailed on the Bungie website, players will be able to purchase new emotes using silver, a new in-game currency which will be purchasable using real-world money via the console's relevant store. Returning NPC Tess Everest will offer 18 new emotes for players to buy using silver from October 13th. Bungie is assured that the emotes are optional and won't impact the action of the game in any way. Pricing information and descriptions for each emote will be available on the day. All players will receive some free silver to purchase an emote or two when they go on sale. You'll also be able to earn it by playing anytime between when it launches and the end of the year and all those sorts of things. Bungie explained that the new items are being used to provide support for the live team for another year as it expands and creates more content for players. All right.
Before you two start arguing, I want to make a point before it just gets totally lost. Is that okay?
Go ahead.
You get right ahead.
Optional is nice. I like that these are optional things that don't matter. But I also want to take this time to point out that this is where microtransactions started, with optional stuff that you didn't have to buy. And then companies found out they could make more money, and it slowly became more and more necessary and helpful things. And you can view this as a step away from a wrong that gaming has been doing, but the fact of the matter is Bungie hasn't done this before, and so this is a step in the wrong direction for them. And I don't trust them not to progress beyond this at some point.
Yeah. Here's my thing about this. As far as microtransactions go, I agree with your point, Larry, but I disagree in the sense of like microtransactions are just a thing of the world that we live in. And Epidemic HD said it up top that we have mobile gaming to blame for it because people are willing to part with their money coin by coin. Maybe not dollar by dollar, but coin by coin, we're willing to part with it. And
I don't think we blame mobile gaming because it started with console gaming and stuff like buying extra swords and fancier cars. That predated the mobile gaming explosion, I'm pretty sure.
Right, but the currency idea that's being implemented in all these things, that's mainly a product of mobile gaming. That's like you need this many tokens to play this many games, buy more tokens to play more games.
You get to buy. It's like the arcade. You got to buy It really is like the arcade. You have to buy tokens to put in the machines.
Arcade ruined it.
Video killed the radio star.
That's right. What's up, Awesome534? But my point being that, like, if you're going to have microtransactions, these are the microtransactions I want you to have.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't I'm harsher on 343 than I am about it. Your upsetness at me before the show was in a complete misunderstanding of
Okay, I think
what
that's
I was
probably
upset
what it was
about.
then, yeah.
Because, like I said in the show notes, I said paying for emotes seems dumb, but whatever. Like, if you want to buy emotes for your character, okay, cool. You want a new dance move, you want a new whatever. Like, that's fine. That's whatever. My issue with the microtransactions was when they're like, Bungie explained that the new items are being used to provide support for the live team for another year as it expands and creates more content for players. And I'm like, you need to continue to nickel and dime us to support this game? You have sold... there was $500 million of money exchanged day one of this product being bought. It was at the top of the NPD charts last month. A year after its release, it was at the top of the NPD charts. And you're telling me that me buying your emotes are what's going to keep this game going. And it's going to keep this game afloat. And you need that in order to support your design teams. And here's Ben with like, they didn't say that they needed it. They just said they're using it.
I think it's all in how you look at it. I think you're jaded towards this game at this point. I mean, I think a lot of people are because of the shadiness of how they handled the story and how they've done the expansions thus far, and how it seems like they've held a lot back from us. And I agree that it is kind of shady in that sense of what they've done, but I think it's just like our example with Seth, and that's why I told you I was going to bring it back here. The guy who's never had a date, and ladies don't want to date him because they think something's wrong with him because they are.
Why are you touching Seth while you say this?
He made this point. I'm just giving him credit.
What a jerk! All right, now Seth's
He
on
made
our
the
side.
point. He made the point. I'm just giving him credit for his point. That same respect is how you look into that statement that they've made. Like, thinking on my side where I'm like, okay, yeah, they messed up, but they're doing a lot better now. I understand some of the costs that go into running something this big. Like, I get why it would make sense to make a more expensive expansion. Like, it kind of makes sense. But you look at it like, oh, stupid Destiny, way to go. This is another mess up that they've done, and this is another way they're just trying to jab money away from me. They could have just done this all for free to begin with, and Taken King could have come out with all the free dance moves, and we wouldn't have to worry about buying new emotes. I think it's just how you look at it. Like, if you're looking at it within, yeah, this is a company who has to keep servers online for 3.2 million people every day. And that's not a cheap thing to keep those running every day for that many people. Like, it's easy to just say, like, they made all this money to start with, and that's good and well, and they shouldn't be greedy, and they should just take what they got and go with it. But this is a lot different than like a single player game you would buy that you pay $60 for, and there's not really any maintenance post launch for the game. Like, you have to. It's a similar parallel with Halo, where you have to keep servers online for multiplayer play. But for a game like this, where the environment's constantly evolving, you've constantly got even the single player and multiplayer side of it. You've constantly got changes happening. You've got to understand that there's a lot of money that goes into keeping those things running.
My issue with that, though, is games that just have multiplayer, like Halo, like they aren't doing microtransactions to keep their servers up. They've had just as big a crowd. And every change they've made to the environment, we've paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, what are the microtransactions, like, what are those doing?
Because that's my thing. Like, okay, $500 million of day one, I agree. Probably gone at this point.
Yeah.
What about all of the money you made off of selling millions of copies of $40 expansion packs a month ago?
Yeah. No, and I don't.
Why is $2 paying for a dance move?
And I don't disagree that this is not necessary for them to, like, this microtransaction money isn't necessary right now for them to need to run servers. But I totally agree that they can use this in the coming year to make things better, like to provide more to more content that we don't have to pay extra money for. Like I think that's a really cool system. You look at somebody who wants to spend all this money on, and this is best case scenario if it works out this way. I'm just speculating at this point. But you look at somebody who wants to spend $30, $40 on this silver currency so they can buy all the dance moves and whatever. And I'm not going to spend that kind of money. I'm going to take my free silver that I get, buy one emote that's really awesome, probably the Hammer Time dance, so I can dance when I get a new exotic, and then I'm going to buy something that I can probably like salute or wave at somebody that I don't have from another class. But after that, like I'm not going to spend money on this silver because I don't need the extra emotes to get me through the game. But it's cool to me that somebody that wants to go and waste all their money on this dance move thing will pay for some future content that I get.
Right.
And that's a really cool concept to me. Like, and that may not sound cool for the person who's buying emotes, but for me, I'm all for that. Like, if I ain't got to pay $20 for another expansion that,
But
granted,
you're
will
going
not
to,
be
Yeah,
equally.
let's just take those rose-colored glasses. You're paying for whatever next expansion's coming out.
Oh, easily, but I'm not so much saying like a Taken King size expansion or a Dark Below size expansion or even House of Wolves size expansion. I'm talking like a new strike or a new mission that they add to the game. There's constant stuff that they're adding right now with Taken King that are quest missions that you don't get until you unlock a certain quest for them. And adding those things to the game, adding a new weapon or whatever to the game is a cool way to spend this money that they can use to, and alongside supplementing the money they need to run the servers and all that good stuff.
they're not constantly adding, though. That stuff was in the expansion.
Yeah.
You may be unlocking it, but
Well, I mean, but there you were like, have you done the Sleeper Simulant stuff yet?
no.
If that was an addition, you had to they had to add that in. That wasn't in the game when you first started.
So that
Kinda
didn't come
like-
with a Taken King. It came out after the Taken King.
Well, they added it. They added it in the
It's a
server.
thing that's going to come and go, kind of like the Iron Banner,
Right.
kind of like, and you have to do kind of secret.
I don't know if it's so much that they added it to it; they just unlocked it. Is kind of what.
All of your points rest on hypotheticals and hopeful things from a company that has demonstrated less than hopeful aspirations.
Mhm.
All right.
I just see.
you're,
Here's the thing. Here's why I have the tendency to lean towards rose-colored glasses because I've seen a turn in what they're
Because I am
providing.
colorblind.
I see you've started out with Vanilla Destiny. I see what happened there. I saw the new expansions and kind of lost my thunder for it. But now I've played this new expansion and I've seen the changes that they've made, and I have faith that they're carrying things out in a proper way now. And the turn for me is convincing enough to see like the change that they've made from their original product to what they have now. It's night and day.
yeah, and it's
Well-
$120 later.
Correct.
Yeah. What I've seen is you got to pay us a crap ton to
Here's
make
the-
our product
Here's the
better.
thing with that though. Let's call this game what it is, because they want to fight all day long that it's not an MMO, but it's an MMO. Like that's what this game is. You get your loot hunting. You play with tons of people online. Like everything is perpetually online. You can't play offline. You've got to play with everybody, other people. You're running raids. You're running strikes. You're doing things that are making a character better for other content. Like that's bottom line MMO stuff. Like they may not want to market it as that, but that's what it is. And especially with the Quest edition that they made, it's an MMO. What MMO do you know that doesn't in some way have a subscription fee of some sort? Like it may not be a set out subscription fee, but there's a way that they supplement the cost that it takes them to run those things and to keep all those people online and to keep everything running at a rate that is playable.
Right. But you back to your original point of, they tooth and nail. We're not an MMO, and that's the way they talked about it in the E3's prior launch. Is this is not an MMO, and so they convinced people to spend $60 on a game that it's not going to be like an MMO,
Right.
Only to treat it like an MMO.
Oh, and they screwed up big time with that. And I think they completely botched it on that. And I think the people that look at Taken King and they're like, I don't have a game I can play anymore because there's so many walls that you're blocked behind if you don't pay that $40. Like you can't do any of the vendor stuff you can't buy because you're not high enough level. You can't gain legendary marks from doing certain stuff because you're not high enough level to do the content. You can't do any of the nightfalls or dailies or anything like that because it's all Taken King content. And I completely understand people's aggression towards why would they market it as this and then turn it around to be this way. But from here on, like, yeah, they screwed up in their pre-marketing for the vanilla game. They screwed up in how they've laid this game out from now. But from this point forward, you understand, like, this is progressive online environment. Like, this isn't a game you can just buy and then 10 years from now it's going to be the same game you can go back and play. This is a game that's progressing constantly. Like, you have to be on board to pay this subscription fee, what have you, of buying expansions and paying for this new content and being up to date. It's just like if you're playing WoW. Like, you can't. I know that this is a little bit of a stretch from WoW, but I can't go into WoW and expect to play with a bunch of high level people unless I buy the expansion stuff that takes me up to those high levels. Like, that's how this game is now, and they may not have intended it to be that way, and they may not have marketed it as that thing, but that's what this game is, and that's the sole reason you play this game, is to play at a high level and to have the high things and to be geared up in a way to take on the highest level things. And that's an MMO. Point cut and dry. Like, that's what this game has turned into. And whether they wanted it to be that way or not, that's what it is.
Right. But
I don't know how that helps your point at all. All I hear is damage to your point again and again.
yeah,
I take these things as like a subscription fee. Like, I
Right.
look at these things as like, instead of me paying $15 a month to play Destiny, I'm paying $40 for this expansion, or I'm paying $2 for an emote, or that's what I'm saying. Like, this game they didn't market it as an MMO, but it is played as an MMO right now, and that's what
you are acknowledged.
That's what I see these extra little, like, nickel and diamond things as being, is as a hidden subscription fee, and that may not be any more right than paying $40 for an expansion, but that's just how I choose to look at it. And I go into this understanding, if I want to play this game and experience all the content, I need to be willing to pay the subscription fee.
Right. Seth. And here's where Seth comes in, and he's like, you guys are both right.
No. I actually do agree with Ben, because what we're saying is
Yes, we're split.
These are emotes. These are emblems. That's it. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm not talking anything about caring.
Oh, yeah.
About them selling these things, because I don't. It doesn't change the game at all. And anyway, it's not like the Halo stuff. Halo deserves to be raked over the coals for doing something that seemingly can be perceived as pay to win. Everybody in the chat agreed. Sounds like it's pay to win. I don't care about that. My care is about having people think that, like, hey, buy this stuff so we can continue to support this game. So we can continue to work on and develop this game. And it's like, we just parted with $40 of our money on yet another correction of course. That it's almost like, Ben, when you had your appendix taken out, if they'd have been like, all right, Ben, here's your $9,000 bill for that, or I don't know how much it costs. And then they come back and they're like, oh crap, we didn't remove your appendix, we removed something else. We'll correct that. That'll be another $9,000.
You don't think they would do that?
Huh?
They would correct it for free.
I think they.
No.
I think they would, or you would win a very great lawsuit.
Yeah. Well.
So that's like, I mean, that's Bungie. Bungie has said time and time again, like, the game we started with, you know, we made some mistakes and we've corrected those things in the expansions. But it's like, hey, we made a mistake. Give us another $15 and we'll prove it to you. We fixed it.
We can't,
now give us another $15. We'll prove it to you. We fixed it. Now give us another $40 because trust us this time. We fixed it. Now give us $2 more because now we got this really sweet dance move. We fixed it.
Larry, I'm going to ask you for a statement right now of something you said a little bit ago. Okay?
The Hunt family cannot comment on that at this time.
And I want to expand on that statement. What did you say about the game now? What you're doing with the game now? Now that you spent all your time trying to get from certain light level to certain light level, you said something about the game. What did you say?
I don't have a clue what you're talking about.
He said
to be
he
honest.
liked it, but he still wouldn't have spent $40 on it. That was what he said.
Okay.
If this game had not been given to me, if you would have let me try it, I absolutely would not have bought it. I would be like, oh, yeah, this is way better. But I'm not going to let them. Because I would have also had to buy the other expansion.
Off of principle, you wouldn't have bought it.
No, it's not worth the money.
Okay.
It's not worth $100.
Okay.
Like, so
I guess I just disagree.
I had
but-
one expansion. I would have had to spend, $70 more to get into this game?
Yeah, it would have been. It was 20 per expansion.
Nah, you wouldn't have to do that. You could have just sold it and bought the $60 version and got all of it.
But he's saying if he'd have kept up every step of the way.
Oh, no. So I could okay. Still,
If you still had $70 to spend, you could have just sold your Destiny and bought the $60 Legendary Edition and gotten all the DLC.
So pay us for 2 games so that we can fix the one game we released. No way, man.
I understand the upsetness about that. I get that. I don't even think upsetness is a word, but I get why you would be upset. But
It's invalid.
no. Here's the thing: like, you can't just ride that from now until Destiny is done. Like, you can't just say they screwed up, and I'm still pissed about them screwing up, so I'm gonna
Don't
just.
we all believe in redemption?
I'm not pissed about them screwing up. I'm pissed about them not fixing their screw up.
Yeah, that's the thing about acknowledging a screw up and then continuing to be like, "Hey guys,
Like, and
we got this fix out.
Right.
You can download it. Just send us 15."
I'm talking about the screwing up as like as charging for the fix to the thing. I'm talking about that as the screw up, not as the not as screwing up the game originally. I'm saying like they made a mistake charging $40 for something to fix the game that they should have just should have done in the first place. It should have been that way to start with. This should have been the game that they released at the beginning. That was an epic mistake. They don't view it that way. A lot of people don't view it that way. I think it was stupid to do it. I still enjoy the game that I purchased, and I still think that it's great where it is now. What I'm saying is we can't just ride that they made me pay $40 for a game that out until forever. Like if they're working towards fixing the issues. And I feel confident they're going to release another expansion. Is it still going to be they're fixing the problem back in Vanilla Destiny when they release another expansion next year?
Wait. You just said they don't view it as a mistake that they've charged $40. You just said they think this is what they should be doing. So why do you think they're going to not continue to do that?
Right.
What do you mean?
Because you were talking about like they may use this money and we may not have to pay for the next expansion.
Yeah, it's possible.
My
I
thing is
I like to lean to the side of giving somebody like credit, and believing in the better side of the situation instead of being pessimistic towards it. And I
But
think
even if that side is just completely 100% never going to happen.
how is it 100% ever going to happen?
So
All right, Dizzy, write down episode 49, timestamp wherever the heck we're at in this episode right now. And when the next expansion comes out, that's when I'll show you that it was a 100% never going to happen.
I've never said that the next expansion that they send out is going to be free. I'm saying like content that they release, future content they release may be free. Like small things,
Or there could be more kind of timed events like the Iron Banner and things like that. It could work with the.
I have no delusions that there's going to be a Taken King size expansion or a Dark Blue size expansion that is free because of this microtransaction. No delusion whatsoever. Like I have, that is 100% true. That's not going to happen. But I can see them releasing like Quest for the Black Spindle, stuff like that is hidden. People don't really know about it until they go in to see it and experience it, and they got people posting videos about how to get to that certain stuff because of this, like extra things to make the game better. And here's the thing: if they were to do that, would your view be changed? Like if they were to add content from this that people don't have to pay for, like the general public doesn't have to pay for, just people who bought the emotes are funding this extra content, would that sway you in any way?
if they begin demonstrating changed character, absolutely, but they haven't.
That's the thing.
And they haven't expressed any desire to.
And I can continue to fall back on that point when they, as a company, unabashedly continue to tell me to part with my money so that they can continue to fix a game that originally was screwed up to begin with, and then try to play the poor pauper and be like, we're just trying to pay our live team to keep improving on this game, man. Just can you drop another maybe $2 in the
They're
hat?
not panhandling you for your emotes, man.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not. God.
We're doing this in order to support our live.
They're describing a way in which the money that they can get from this emotes can be used. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I think if they're saying, we really need you to buy these emotes because that's going to fund everything we do for the next year, like that's not what they're saying. They're saying they can use this for content.
If I can't have a freaking dance move for free, what makes you think they're going to give me a new game mode for free?
Well, it's not free. You're paying for the emotes.
Oh, my God. Moving on. All right.
I don't want to move on yet.
Nah, we're moving on.
One thing to say.
All right, last thing. We're going to let Larry have the last word.
Yeah, let him
and
say
then
the last word.
We're going to move on.
Don't be too mean, okay? Because I can't rebuttal.
It's true.
We made it through, guys.
No, we haven't. Larry's still got one more point. Does he got one?
We made it through.
I don't think I've ever clarified this, and so this is what I want to clarify. I'm not saying they should have given us free content because they screwed up. My problem with the Taken King expansion is that it's not that they locked their new levels behind a paywall, but they locked their gameplay mechanic corrections behind the paywall too. Like, they literally won't fix your game unless you pay them. When, all right, keep your maps, keep your stuff, charge me for that, but to lock me into the old gameplay mode, and now I can't play with my friends unless I get it. That's what was jacked up to me, and I just don't see them changing course. I hope they do, but I don't see it happening.
All right, and that was the final word. And then Ben had to jump in with cool. Now you have the
I'm sorry.
Larry,
I'm sorry.
You get one more final. I'm just kidding.
I want the final word. Pickles.
All right. Now, moving. That was all the news that we had for you this week.
News with the podcast, guys.
That was horrible. I'm on Larry's side with that jingle. All right, moving on. We've got reviews. Reviews for you. Larry, Seth.
Talk to me.
You talk to me.
Luke, talk to me.
You talk to me.
You guys talk to me about Star Wars Battlefront Beta. It is a movie, 3 movies that came out in the 70s and 80s, and then another 3 movies that did not exist after, made over into a video game. Oh, I'm not done with news, guys. Because, guys, I got breaking news for you.
Oh crap! I don't know anything about this.
I got breaking news for you.
Breaking.
Battlefront wants your money. EA wants your money.
That's Star Wars.
Newsflash.
Oh, yeah,
Whoa. EA wants my money?
Newsflash, guys.
Not EA. Surely not.
The one pure one we had left. Star Wars Battlefront wants a price of almost a whole entire other game for the season pass that they just announced. EA has revealed the details, very loose interpretation of that word, of the Star Wars Battlefront $50 US dollar season pass, along with the info on the game's Hero Hunt mode. The season pass will include 4 expansions, early access to the expansions by 2 weeks, an exclusive Shoot First emote.
I'm trying to make that my son's name, by the way.
Shoot First?
Hero Hunt.
Oh, nice.
How awesome would that be?
And the promise of more details in the coming weeks. So, guys, spend $50 for something they're not going to tell you about for another few weeks.
It's been a trend here recently, though, hasn't it?
Talk to me. Yeah, Batman did it. Batman was like, hey, give us the money.
Good man, and Fallout's doing it, too.
Yes. What's up, Total Shrimp 65?
Total Shrimp.
Fallout's doing it. Batman did it. Battlefront's doing it.
Everybody's doing it.
And I'm like, you know what I could probably buy with close to that $50? Star Wars Battlefront 2 when it comes out in 3 years.
Or you could buy like 12 emotes.
And Ben still somehow sneaks the last word.
Biz, I'm going to need that lighter.
Oh my. I'm just so jaded towards this stuff, man. Like $50. That's
this one's ridiculous. Yeah, I don't think. Surely none of you can argue that $50 season pass is okay.
Yeah.
Especially for a game that this game doesn't have a campaign.
Call of Duty's been doing it for years, but especially because this game doesn't have a campaign. Call of Duty's at least you get zombie modes and maps and God knows whatever else. I mean, a mini fridge with your season pass.
We may get some crazy stuff, but like Luke said, we just don't know.
A real lightsaber.
But we want your money, but there are no details on this yet. It's gonna be really cool. Give us your money.
How many? I mean, I think back to. Well, I don't know. I'm just not very researched on a lot of things, though. I'll throw money and stuff. But I think back to most season passes I've gotten have been like I don't know exactly what I'm getting, but I don't pay $50 for them either. They're usually like 30 or 35.
I don't think I've ever bought an expansion without knowing exactly what I was getting.
Man, I knew I was getting like 2 expansions or something, but I didn't know what the expansions were.
Yeah, dude, I bought the Halo 2 expansion on disc.
There's an expansion for Halo 2?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
it had my
DLC
favorite
maps.
Halo map ever, Turf.
Oh, yeah, that's true, I guess, yeah.
All right. Well, while we're talking about Battlefront, and without the $50 stupid season pass clouding our judgment, and the time that you spent with the game, talk to me about it.
You talk to me.
I will talk to you.
You got a lot of green on this show note.
Very first off, the game is gorgeous. I'm going to read what Milky said. He said, Star Wars Battlefront beta looks so gorgeous.
Oh,
I asked it out for dinner and a drink.
yeah, you need to read the whole thing before you read it on the podcast.
And then never called her after taking her out just for that drink.
Coitus.
Well said. It wasn't dirty.
Yeah, what? We love you, Milky.
I don't think that.
We love you, Milky.
You're weird,
Okay.
man. You play games differently than I do, man.
I thought the game was gorgeous, though. I thought it looked. I told Larry when I was playing Saturday night, I said, this may be the best looking next gen game I've seen.
And I would agree with that wholeheartedly.
It just has such a.
How long is the beta still?
It's live tonight and it goes off tomorrow. They expanded it by a day. Extended it by a day. But I think the game's beautiful. The lighting's beautiful. The character models are great. The landscape is awesome. I thought they did a wonderful job of implementing the license in terms of the sound and the music and the characters and all of those sorts of things and the vehicles, all of that. But I don't know if the pretty picture that we get when we play it is enough to spend $60 because I don't find the gameplay in and of itself incredibly innovative. I really think they're trying to ride the coattails of
I think what
Star Wars licensure.
I think what's truly sold me is just the fact that I am very in love with the franchise. Enough so to spend $60 just to kind of be in that world. There was a phrase that I really liked, and it was on one of the menu screens, and it said something like about enjoying your Star Wars fantasies coming to life or whatever. And they said Star Wars fantasies, and that's exactly what this game is. Just like foot soldiering it out, going out in the field and having a fantastical battle, and that's what every map is. Now, is it the greatest thing I've ever played? Absolutely not. I'd say it's mediocre at best, but the fact that you can kind of do these things in an online environment in a way that you've never been able to do before, it's worth it to me.
Mm-hmm. And they've got a lot of different game modes that we haven't played yet.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that may spice it up enough. I kind of when we were playing, you said something that I kind of agree with. I'm not sure if this gameplay is going to hold my attention while Halo 5 is coming out and these other games are coming out. And we've seen games get a lot of flack for being too repetitive, like Titanfall. And I'm kind of worried this game's going to fall in that same category. But I hope not. It is a fun game. But I can't see it getting repetitive.
Yeah, and the thing about the other game modes coming is with a beta, you want to put your best game modes at the forefront. So your two game modes available right now are Drop Zone, and that's kind of your starter game mode, a place where you can go and you can level up because you kind of go in with nothing. You don't have grenades, or you don't have any like double jump ability, any jetpacking ability, anything like that. You can run and you can shoot. Those are about the only two things, and you unlock stuff as you go through. So with Drop Zone, what happens is there's a pod that crashes, and you have to capture and defend that pod, and then you hold it for so long, and then another pod drops, and it's the first of 5, I think. Right.
It's basically like King of the Hill.
Yeah, sort of. And then the next is what is the other one called? And explain it for us.
I can't remember what it's
Walker
called.
Assault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the Battle of Hoth, and the Walkers are making their march toward the base. The Rebels are trying to bring these uplinks online that are going to call in Y-wing fighters that are going to strike the Walkers. While they're being struck, you can hurt them. While they're not being struck, you can't hurt them. So basically, the Imperials are trying to keep the Y-wings out of the sky, while the Rebels are trying to put them in the sky. And it's super unbalanced right now, but they're going to tweak it.
Butterfly in the sky.
Butterfly in the sky.
Let's talk about the unbalancedness of that game mode for a minute, because that's what jumped out to me within it, and it was one of those, like, we didn't even have to play it all that long to understand why. It's pretty much known that Rebels are going to lose in that game mode. It's virtually impossible for them to win, so they have to go and activate the uplink to call in the strikes on the AT-ATs. But it takes, I don't know, a minute and a half for the circle to fill up after you activate it, and you only have to be at it as the Imperial people. You only have to be at it for a couple seconds to deactivate it, and so it's just really, really hard to keep them up. And you have to get both of them up at the same time, right?
I think you can just get one up, but I may be wrong.
Okay, I may be wrong, because we didn't get anywhere to where one was up.
Yeah, our Walkers didn't get hit at all when we played.
Yeah.
We wrecked the Rebels.
So it's just really, really unbalanced, but that's why you have a beta, is to figure out those things and figure out how to fix it. But that was one of those. It was like, I don't know if I've ever seen anything this unbalanced.
Yeah.
Except for maybe Halo 4 when it first released, with the ordnance drops and how all that stuff worked. But it's very, very unbalanced. What do you think about it while you were playing, Seth?
I mean, like I said, it wasn't the best thing I've ever played. I was expecting more, and to be fair, I haven't really played enough to get a lot of unlocks, like your jetpack boost and things like that. I've got a grenade and that sniper rifle thing that shoots the projectile.
I dig that thing.
Yeah, I mean that stuff's pretty cool, but it doesn't make me not want to play Destiny or Halo 5 as it's coming up, things like that. Now, I'll be putting a good amount of time into this when it comes out, just because, like I said, I want to dive into these Star Wars fantasies. But is it going to stand the test of time with a great game season coming up? I don't think so. It'll be something I hang on to play with like friends after we watch a new Star Wars movie or have a marathon or something like that.
And I think that's my big thing with it, is like, I'm not nearly as big a Star Wars fan as you guys are, and so the license only goes so far for me. And it's like, while I was playing it, I was like, it just doesn't innovate on first person shooter gameplay. And Epidemic said that their point wasn't really to make it innovative, and this was up here. I can't find it. I'm just going based off memory. But that they were trying to remake the PS2 version of it. But we also know all of the stuff that's missing from the old PS2 versions to this version. So it'll be interesting to see how far the license carries it. I think this is going to be one of those games that sells incredibly well at launch. I think it'll get another boost around the holiday, when like Black Friday and maybe a week after that. But
it doesn't launch till December, right?
No,
That's
November 17th.
Oh, okay, cool.
And so, but I feel like like it is with all of these online only games, that hype will be around it for a little bit, and then it'll just kind of fall off and dwindle off. We saw it with Evolve. I think that's what we're going to see with Rainbow Six Siege. What's the other game? We saw it with Titanfall, and I think it's just kind of where Star Wars Battlefront's doomed to be. Not anything based off of even the gameplay of it, but just rather that there's just not a whole lot there. And that's not just going based off the beta, but based off of what we know is going to be in the game and what's not going to be in the game, i.e. campaigns.
Yeah, the huge crowd will only last for a little while, I think. But I think that with it being Star Wars, and this is something people have wanted for a while, there will be that core group of people that keep playing it. And I don't think you're going to get to a point where you can't jump on and find a game.
Especially when I think it'll also dwindle when, like, you said you wanted to take part in these fantastical battles, and but when you're having to pay $50 to get some of those battles. A lot of those battles.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to pay the $50, but
yeah,
I mean, I'm gonna take what I can get for $60, and I'm gonna roll with it.
Boom, baby!
I'm willing to milkshake bet that those expansions eventually, very quickly, happen like Titanfalls did, where they drop in price really quick because
Right.
all it does is fragment a community that's not big enough to be fragmented.
I'm not taking you up on that bet because I see that very easily happening.
So I can't wait to get my cheap or even free expansions. Before we move on from it, I feel like you're about to. We've said this, but I'm going to reiterate it. It's very simple, but it's enjoyable. But it is super simple gameplay. Some things that stood out to me that I did like: the grenades in it and the specials. They work on a cooldown, not a picking up. I dig that. But my favorite. Let me say the thing I hate first. I was so excited when I found out this game was going to have split screen. And I was so pissed when I found out this game was not going to have online split screen. My wife and I fired up the beta, so excited to finally play a split screen shooter together on the next gen. And once again, we can't do it. I hate all of you who are responsible for those
Well, I love
decisions.
you, Larry.
You are
Yeah, I
responsible
love
for
you
those
too.
decisions.
I know, but you.
I am. I don't play split screen online stuff, so I'm part of the problem.
You are part of it. No.
I do want to while we're there. I'm writing for a site now, Gamespresso. I'm going to talk about my Madden article at the end of the episode, but I want my next opinion piece to be about the kind of the death of split screen and where it's gone, and I want to have a poll built into it because I really am interested because I know like how vehemently upset you get about this sort of stuff, and rightfully so. Like you have a personal stake in it, and I laugh at you because of it, but we're friends, and I laugh at you about everything.
Yeah.
Because you're just so like. About it, but I want to see how many other people feel that way because all these companies wouldn't be making this decision if it was like an overwhelming number of people who felt like that.
And for the viewers that don't know why I'm so vehement about it, like it's been something that's very central to what my wife and I do together the entire time since we started dating in high school. So like, what year is this? 2015. So 8 years ago.
Last
The year of our Lord 2015. Yeah.
So for 8 years we've been playing split screen games together, and it's just a hobby we literally can't do anymore. So that's why I'm so upset by it. And really, we just can't afford to buy 2 consoles and 2 copies of every game.
Right.
But that's what I hate about it. The thing that I love about it, though, this is something that I don't know if a lot of people care about. You can turn the auto aim off. And there are games that say you can turn the auto aim off, and what they really mean is we're going to reduce the auto aim. Your reticle is only going to be very marginally pulled toward people. This game, really, your reticle will not pull toward people anymore, and I love it. At first, I really sucked because I've grown used to auto aim over the many years that it's been forced into every shooter. But then I love having absolute control over where my reticle goes. Good thing. Good on you, Star Wars.
Well, we won't do a review in a word just because it wasn't the full game.
Beta.
Beta. Betta, like the fish.
Yes.
So let's move on to everybody's favorite segment, the random question of the week.
Random question of the week for the month for this week.
I didn't even try.
I decided to go low. Sorry.
It took me off. Yeah, it was weird.
It's October, my favorite month, Larry's favorite month. Nobody cares if it's Seth's favorite month. Is it your favorite month?
I don't know.
I don't.
And so we're doing a full-on list of horror questions. Last week we talked about our favorite piece of horror media. And this week my question to you guys is, who is the greatest horror monster of all time, or the greatest horror monsters? You can pick a couple if you have a couple in your brain.
The Sharknado.
Ben, I'm afraid to start with you. Go.
You didn't specify horror monsters. You just said monsters.
Oh my gosh! That is not what you had written earlier.
Yeah, seriously. Can
You understood the question.
I will give you my my non-serious answer. Then my semi-serious answer. Then my serious answer. Kid Rock is the greatest monster of all time. Him with his cross genre music. It's just an abomination to the world.
All right, now you're serious.
Serious answer. I think Sinister for me is like. Well, I kind of thought in a different light of this. I thought about what scared me the most, and I haven't seen It Follows. But Sinister scares the crap out of me because I was terrified of The Ring, when The Ring can come get you because you watch the video, and the fact that you can get sucked into, or your child can get sucked into this evil dimension with Mr. Boogie, and he'll send him to come kill you.
Mr. Boogie.
It's terrifying to
I've
me.
forgotten all about Mr.
Even with the funny jokes about Mr. Buggy, it makes him even scarier.
What movie
So-
did we make Mr. Boogie jokes about? Was it Sinister?
Yeah, it was
Okay,
Sinister.
But no horror can compare to that of Kid Rock.
The Dark
So
Lord of
what
Horror.
particularly about Sinister makes him?
Just the fact that he has like a grip on like your children, like he can pull your children into a dimension where you don't realize that there's anything wrong with them until they kill you.
Yeah.
So as a father, you fear for the life of your child.
And the evasion
You ain't no daddy.
from Sinister, like the evasion from Sinister is the way that he can get to you. Like in the movie, spoiler alert, I don't have a spoiler hat, so I'm just going to make this my spoiler hat.
Just turn it around. As long as that's turning
Spoiler
around,
hat,
he's
okay?
spoiling Sinister.
Within the movie, they don't become susceptible to the sinister monster or whatever until they leave the house that they were in, that the murders happened in. So, like, every murder before them happened that way, too. They weren't susceptible until they fled the house where they were getting haunted. So you had two choices. You either stay in the house that you're getting haunted in, or you go to another house and die. Like, that's terrifying to me. I don't know.
Stay in the house you're getting haunted in. It can't hurt you.
It still hurt him.
That's true.
It still hurting him and stuff.
That movie made me terrified to look in the crawl space of my new house.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's gonna be a box of videotape there. I'm gonna watch it.
Crawl
I'm gonna
space?
get.
Crawl space?
It's gonna be horrible.
Let's do it after the podcast.
There's a couple entrances. We'll find it.
Do you have a crawl space? Oh, the one in here.
I have crawl.
Yeah.
I have that one in there. I've got another one upstairs.
I'm going in tonight. It's after dark.
Tonight.
Let's do it.
Tonight. But if you pull a box of videos down from there, I'm burning both you and the box.
That's not fair.
If you burn it,
I'm
it
not
just
a
comes
video.
back.
That's true.
You burn it, it just comes right
That's
back.
true.
And it's even more maleficent.
If I find it, I'll just
Malignant.
burn myself.
It's more Maleficent with crap.
Angelina Jolie.
Angelina Jolie. All right, Seth, your answer. Monster of all time.
I kind of didn't go so much for a monster, but it kind of falls in the vein of yours, Larry. I like monsters like Freddy Krueger, like the whatever it's called and It Follows. I call it the succubus myself. It's kind of it. It is also one of them. Monsters that kind of transform according to like kind of psychological Jim jams, for lack of a better word.
Jim jams.
Little psychological aspects of the horror genre, like Freddy Krueger tends to kind of manifest in I'm gonna be really repetitive here. He tends to manifest in a manifestation of something that's repressed. So like the forms that he takes, the weird and wacky things, tend to kind of
Very solid psychology.
Right, thank you.
It isn't.
I know, but the forms he takes tend to be kind of either other psychological fears of the characters themselves, or they have to do with like he's always coming up from under something, and he's sort of he and his history are sort of something that's been buried down beneath the community, for years and years, and him constantly coming up from under a bed or coming up from under a car or something like that, or his way of kind of breaking out and coming up. And the same kind of thing goes for It Follows, I think, and that creature being sort of a manifestation of sexual repression. I kind of like those monsters that, because they're not one monster, they're all kinds of monsters. Things like It. They're more fun that way. It's like you get more bang for your buck.
For me, I'm going to go with It Follows as well for a different reason, however. You mentioned the psychological and kind of metaphorical aspects. But just in terms of concept, for those that don't know the premise behind It Follows, would this be considered spoiler?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Okay, because I want to see that movie still.
Okay. Essentially, what happens, well, I have to do it for the sake of the discussion, is it is a spirit of something that attaches itself to you, and then it takes the form of another human being who is always walking in a straight line towards you, and if it catches you, it kills you and does awful things to you. And the only way to rid yourself of this attachment is to have sex with another individual, and then it attaches to them, and if it catches them and kills them, it goes to the person that was attached to prior to that, which would be you. I'm done, Ben.
That was very painful. I was boxing my ears.
It's really not that huge of a spoiler. Like, it's
It's just the basic premise.
It's the premise of the movie.
Oh,
but
Can you say it again, please?
but the whole idea that like you after you experience this thing, there is zero chance of you ever being safe ever again, because you can pass it along to somebody who passes it along to somebody who passes it along to somebody. But if those three people ever slip up and die, all of a sudden you're back in the danger zone again. And it's just this persistence about it that it's just like it's constantly moving towards you. And even if it's moving to destroy somebody else, it's still moving to destroy you in some sense. And it's just like this unsettling feeling that you made one decision that's going to haunt you perpetually for the rest of your life.
And that's why that film works so well as an allegory for like sexually transmitted diseases or sexuality in general, is because we all know, I'm sure, how hard it is to get rid of herpes.
What in the world, man?
And you know they can be gone and then they can pop back up at any time. You never know.
Just like
Larry, what's your favorite horror monster?
Just like your children.
Now,
Be gone and just pop it back.
I want to
over.
get real hipster for a minute and say that I know this is real popular right now, but you all merely adopted the zombies. I was born in them, molded by them.
I was born.
My stepmom loves Romero, so I've been watching Romero movies since I was like 5. My parents are awful, and so like I've always loved zombies. I think it's great. It's terrifying. Just and it's something that kind of changes with the time. Sometimes you got fast zombies, sometimes you got slow zombies, and they're often representative of things like consumerism or arguably racism in Night of the Living Dead, but more accurately, the previous generation consuming, or the new generation consuming an old, like, there's always these underlying themes, whether you notice them or not. Walking Dead always has all these underlying themes. It's a great show. But why I think they're the greatest monster is it's, one-on-one they're not so bad, but just the horde, it's so hard to take on a horde. It's hard to take, like, there's only one way to kill it. You destroy the brain. No matter what other damage you do, it's going to keep on coming. So it has that sense of, it is that thing that's pressing on and pressing on and pressing on. And once the outbreak starts, like, it almost never stops in any kind of media. So it's something that you're just doomed to this battle for the rest of your existence. You're doomed to try to carve out an existence against this thing. And I think what makes them the greatest monster is it's not just some faceless thing that you can easily put down. Like, you've got to overcome the fact that these are your friends and your neighbors and your loved ones, or they were. You've got to change that distinction. They're not anymore. And we want to be very honorable toward our loved ones when they die, but this forces you to desecrate a body.
Oh yeah, I was having kind of the same conversation again with my boss that I had the other conversation with earlier, because he's been watching. He does not really into The Walking Dead, the show, but he actually did all 6 episodes of Fear the Walking Dead, and he was kind of talking about like he likes the show, but he was what was it exactly? Oh, he was no spoilers, but someone is killed. Not like not a major character.
Take it back.
Not a major character. So someone's like a neighbor is killed, and yeah, so someone's neighbor's killed, and my boss is like, this thing is clearly not alive. Like, these guys have already seen at this point some zombies. They know they're going to try to kill you. Why don't you just kill them? I'm like, that's the thing, is it's your neighbor. Freud talks about, back to the psychological thing, the uncanny being something that is almost as it should be, but something about it, whether perceptible or not, is off. And so when you got like a fresh zombie, maybe it's a little bloody, maybe it's not. Especially if it's someone that there's only so much different about them. It's just that something's not there, and that's the scariest part. You see it all the way back to Night of the Living Dead. With spoiler alert if you haven't seen the 1960-something classic Night of the Living Dead.
If you haven't seen it, you just suck.
The little girl. Everyone's so scared of her when she comes back, and that's it.
And she's even harder because
It's a child.
even if you're not attached to her, like, this is a child, yeah. And kind of going back to that, well, they should just be able to do it. Even in a normal death, what's the first stage of grief? Denial.
Right, exactly.
You don't want to accept that they're dead. You definitely don't want to accept that they're coming to kill you now.
I like to start at denial of like, I know that they're dead.
I know that they're dead. I really just want to ignore it.
Something that's kind of interesting about the genre. I know people think that we're going to get bored of it. I don't think we're going to get bored of it. I think zombies they're going to be here to stay. They've been around for, what, 50 years now? It's a done deal. I have a friend who did his master's thesis comparing apocalyptic literature in the ancient world to apocalyptic literature today. And something that he kind of dug up was that over half of all zombie movies made have been made since 9/11. And so, what year was that? 2001. So,
oh my God!
You said you'd never forget.
Oh my God! So you have 40 years, and then you have 15 years, 14 years, and in that 14-year span, most of it's been made, and so they got popular. That's what happened. But his stance on it was they got more popular because as we as a society have gotten more hopeless, we've been drawn to these forms of media that are about trying to cling to hope in the midst of desperate situations.
And that works so well, especially with the 9/11 analogy, because I think Dawn of the Dead was really one of the first, the remake by Zack Snyder was one of the first big zombie movies to come out post 9/11, and it actually featured. It's got that great opening credits sort of montage of real and fake news footage. It's got some zombies in there. And then it just has these little shots, and it never explains it or anything like that. But just in the middle of all the news footage and things like that, you have a mosque full of, I couldn't think of the word, a mosque full of a mask full of Muslims kind of bowing toward Mecca, and it's not saying anything specifically about Muslims, anything like that. It's just that fear that everyone knew about and everyone remembers that was there. About sort of Islam and that kind of fanatical thinking that Al-Qaeda, ISIS, all these people have. And that's what the zombie horde is. It's just this kind of non-thinking, just ever-present,
non-relenting, always
whatever, all these words.
Yeah, always refreshing.
The words are as endless as the horde itself. It just keeps coming for you without solace.
Right. And when you sticking to that example, when you start to feel like you have a grasp on the situation is the moment where the most devastating things happen, and we see that across all zombie medias. Is
mission accomplished.
You start feeling like, okay, we're finally safe, and then you're reminded that it's not safe. This thing is still a threat, and it really is kind of and I never really thought about it like that, but that's a commentary of how we live our lives today, where we think the moment we start thinking we have a handle on it is the moment that things can slip.
And let's dissect it some more. The thing itself begins to transform the people that aren't the thing. Now you can't trust neighbors, maybe.
Look at The Walking Dead.
People are more dangerous than the thing itself at some point. And that goes really well hand in hand with, the fear of Islam after 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's still affecting us today.
Oh yeah, we're still post 9/11, but I just remember hearing the stories on the news about people attacking what are they, burqas?
Yeah.
People attacking just people that might be Muslim or Arabic or Arabic, not even pertaining to Islam.
One guy got run down by a car just because he had a big beard and a turban. They thought he was Osama bin Laden.
Right, and just ridiculous stuff like that. And it's just that fear, and it resonates with us so much. And just those one or two shots of that in the opening credits of a film about just these mindless, totally driven creatures, singularly driven creatures, just running at you full force.
Yeah.
We hope that we'll be driven together by disaster and we'll unite against it, but most often we're fragmented by it, and it's me versus you. It's my group versus yours.
Happened to them in Dawn of the Dead.
Huh?
Happened to them in Dawn of the Dead.
Mm-hmm. All right. Milky513 says, I think the best current horror monster concept is the concept of Slenderman. I think the sheer imagination and almost Alfred Hitchcock-like description leads your mind to wander to a worse concept than if it were plainly stated, or if there were an actual description of Slenderman. I think that's interesting. That horror that kind of leads you beyond even the essence of the horror itself to something greater, that makes you fear every noise you hear in real life, or every flicker of light that may.
Because doesn't
catch a
supposedly like
glimpse.
Slender Man has like spider arms and
Eventually, he has like these tentacles, but
yeah.
at first he's just a dude in a suit. looking
Yeah,
at
so
your
that's
windows
just
at
like
night.
his. He's almost like what is it in Supernatural? I don't know how really theologically deep this goes, but like angels and these kind of celestial beings are sort of like these bigger than life creatures that kind of have to be condensed down into a certain form for you to even be able to perceive them.
Yeah,
something like
I think
that?
Slenderman's kind of like that.
Okay.
And he interferes with video when you're trying to video him. It causes
Yeah,
interference
yeah.
and stuff. Yeah, that is a good one. He's super creepy, and it's one of those. It's a ridiculous concept. This guy that's almost omnipresent, and he's always watching you. But when you watch some of that media, you do you get nervous to go near your windows at night. I had to stop watching them. There was a period of time when my wife was still finishing school up in Tennessee while I was here in Virginia, and I was watching those videos by myself at night, and I had to stop because something started tripping my motion sensor light at night all the time, and I was like, I know it's not Slenderman, but I can't watch these videos
but
anymore.
could it be? That's especially. I remember you talking about how creeped out you were about in the real life media, the Slenderman happenings, whatever you want to call them, with those two. Was it the two girls?
Yeah, the two girls.
Just like how at least the one talked about him visiting her at night and giving her the mission or whatever. She was doing it to honor him.
Yeah.
That stuff's unreal, and it's very real.
And I wasn't deep into the lore at that time,
Mhm.
as deep as I am now since I've played the Slender the Arrival game, and I went and digging around, researching some stuff. But that's part of the lore, that Slenderman visits these people and threatens them, and they can either die by his hands or they can become his proxies doing his will in the real world. So this girl totally bought into this urban legend, and
Interesting.
that story really creeped me out.
Yeah. Now that you
Because
just put it
once
like
again, I'm like, I know Slenderman didn't go see this girl and make her do that, but I'm
do
like,
you?
but do I?
And that's how horror is born, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, let's get out of here. Let's make it quick. Who are you, and where can we find you, Ben?
My name's Ben. You can find me on Twitter at Notre Hankins, Notrahankins. Yeah, that's right. And then you can find me on Twitch at WhoBombTrady. You can find me on PSN at WhoBombTrady, all one word. You can find me on Xbox Live, WhoBombTrady, 3 words.
Seth, you can find me on Xbox Live at Dongzorz, 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 or at Buttzorz on PSN, BUTTZORZ, Buttzorz. Kind of got a little monopoly on the whole lower body thing going on with my tags. What's up?
I'm Larry Hunt. You can find me on Twitter at LairHuntsZombies, LARHUNTS Zombies. And on Thursday nights, I'm streaming horror games in Lair Hunts Evil.
All right, I'm Luke Croft. You can find me on Twitter at TK from Antioch. You can find me on PSN at Lodger Blackman and Xbox Live at Download a Hoagie. You can also find me writing over at Gamespresso.com. I just put up a most influential features in Madden article that I'm pretty proud of. It's the first part of a 4-part series, so go check that out. We are the Player 3 Podcast. Find us on YouTube.com/Player3Podcast and all your iTunes services, podcast services, iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher. Leave us a review, a comment, a subscription, a follow. If you really love us, leave us a tip. But we are the Player 3 Podcast.
Player 3 Podcast!
B3B.
Boom.
Welcome them.
Is that new?
Hello all, and welcome to the Player 3 Podcast After Party Lounge, where butt bucks can be spent on all kinds of things, from emotes to emojis to dance moves and colorful phrases.
Oh, what's up, Zyger? Hey, can you do me a favor? Can you grab my phone?
I got to pee.
Yeah, you go ahead, man. This is what the After Party Lounge is for peeing. Oh.
Man dog.
And then I gotta. We've changed the format of the After Party Lounge a little bit. We're still going to use your questions and all that stuff. Yeah, Zyger, you missed like 2 hours of the show, but we're gonna stick around for about 15-20 minutes right now.
How did that show take 2 hours? I feel like.
I'm not going to start the topic yet, but the way that this works is if you have a topic you want us to talk about, drop it in the chat, and if we know anything about it, we'll talk about it. If someone wants to talk about Gary's mod horror maps, anyone know what that is?
Gary's mod is a kind of, if I'm thinking of the right thing, it's like kind of a meta game that pulls in your other games to make a new game. I don't understand.
Something like that sounds about right, but I don't know what it is either. I've
Yeah.
seen it on Twitch.
We don't have a clue about Gary's mod, so we can't really talk about it. Now, Gary's mom, on the other hand.
Gary's mama! Huh? Gary's mom.
Shut about my mom!
How did that show end up being 2 hours? At the hour mark, we were at the end of the show notes.
We started the random
Just
question
about.
at 95 minutes.
Holy cow. Awesome. But anyway, the way we start off the show is not with your topics, but with a topic that one of us will bring. This is my week, so next week is your week. Just anything. It doesn't have to be game related. So
I love your topic.
I wanted to cater a little bit towards Larry. Now, is Ben peeing or is he taking a dump? Okay, he just peed, but
Kind of that pee before you take the dump, you know what I mean?
yeah.
I'm now doing illicit drugs off your toilet.
Oh,
And by-
I would not do that.
And he said he's doing illicit drugs on the toilet. Or off of the toilet, I'm sorry. By illicit drugs, he means he's snorting spider parts.
There's a lot of spiders down here. It would be totally possible. Des brought those for the set. All right,
That's Taylor Swift.
All right, Ben, listen up, because here's the topic. This comes from Examiner.com. Taylor Swift to take a break after 1989 World Tour ends. It says Taylor Swift has been a mainstay in the musical spotlight since she entered the scene as a teenager. From an ever-growing fan base to an increasing resume of hits to touring all over the world, the award-winning singer has experienced an extensive whirlwind of major fame. Now, the Bad Blood singer, 25, just may be in need of a little break. In an interview with NME magazine, it was revealed on Thursday, October 8th, that Swift plans to take a hiatus after the 1989 tour comes to an end in December. While her stepping away from front and center stage is causing some Swifties to speculate, Taylor seemingly just wants some time to be a normal 20-something doing normal things. Quote, I think I should take some time off. People might need a break from me. I'm going to hang out with friends, write new music, maybe not write new music. I don't know. She dished to NME magazine. Larry, this topic was mainly for you. Everybody else can chime in too. But you're a huge T-Swizzle fan.
I am. I love T.
You're a Swizzle Knight.
I've been it's a Swiftie, Ben.
Swizzle Knight.
Get your language right. I was a closet fan for many years. As a teenage boy, I knew it was shameful for me to like Taylor Swift, so it was a hidden secret until one day my wife heard me belting one of her songs out in the car, and I won't tell you what she said, but it was not very nice. And but yeah, you put this up, and is it disappointing that she's not going to be making new music for a little while? A little bit, but I understand it. She's been putting albums out since 2006, and she's put one out every other fall, October usually, except in 2008 when it was in November, and so this has been nonstop for her for almost a decade now, and we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of 1989.
I know a guy that used to be a girl who used to be able to name the whole discography of Oasis, and the years, and I think you just named all the Taylor Swift albums, didn't you?
Please don't.
Can I just point out right now that Larry knew when Taylor Swift started touring, but didn't know when 9/11 happened?
Boom, baby.
Not off the top of my head when I thought about it.
I think the bigger question in this
What has
whole-
impacted my life more? That's never.
No.
Oh gosh, that was.
You just went full on Ben Hankins. You never go full on Ben Hankins.
Oh, Larry.
Let me rephrase that.
No.
You just gotta own it, man.
You were as red as
What do I
that.
think about more frequently?
You were as red as that Coke shirt right
just
now.
gotta own
I think
it.
about 9/11 every day.
You just gotta own
Think
it.
about Taylor Swift.
Because I'm like, is this what it's like to be Ben Hankins?
No, I'm nowhere near that red.
He's nowhere near that aware. He's like, that was racist?
I think the bigger question with this topic is, when is DMX coming back?
You shut up. We're not done talking about Taylor.
I think that Taylor deserves a break. I mean, she's been a full force, and this last album, I'll admit, it's been pretty good. How's that latest single she has go?
Which one?
No,
That's the first one.
No, it's
What are we up to?
the white dress.
Wildest Dreams. Yeah.
He's so tall and handsome as hell, so bad, but he does it so well. She gets me with that one, man. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't realize that was a Taylor Swift song because the only time I hear you singing is when you're like, he's so tall. He's so tall.
I'm curious. How many pop albums has she had? Non-country albums.
Everyone considered this her first one, but if you go look at the description of Red, the last album, it it starts off with Taylor Swift is makes the transition from country to pop with this album.
Yeah.
So everyone threw a fit when 1989 was coming out, but
She's probably got to.
bro, that already happened.
What's up, Play Harder? 03?
She's probably got to
Hit
take
that
a little
bubble.
time to work on those legs. I mean, they're insured for millions of dollars, right?
Yeah, yeah.
She insured her legs.
Just
But-
her legs?
Yeah, you can do that.
Why not your entire body? Your legs
Well,
are
like,
useless
well,
without your
no,
body.
She has insurance on her entire
because
body.
apparently they're her best features.
But you know,
Yeah.
like Troy Polamalu had $1 million insurance policy taken out on his hair.
See, that's just dumb. Who can validate
So like
insurance
if Mike
on
Tyson
your
runs
hair?
up in the field and tries to bite it off, he can.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so she's been going full force for like 10 years, and then arguably stepped it up substantially with this album, and dominated the pop world with it. And you know what? She wants a break. It's well deserved, and I think that she's right as far as this being a smart business decision, because she doesn't want she doesn't want overexposure to happen. People just get sick of her, and so by the time she gets around to releasing her next album, I think people will be hungry for it, and it'll be good.
Here's a question. If I gave you $2 million, you had to spend it on insurance. What body part would you insure?
That's a great question, man. Oh.
My chin.
Your chin?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, none of us have any super special body parts.
I can't say mine on
How do you know?
the podcast.
Mine would be my hands. I make most of my money comes via my hands.
Yeah,
I'd say my feet, because if I end up failing in life and serving for another 30 years, then I mean I'm gonna need some cash, because these puppies aren't gonna last too long.
Yeah.
I'm gonna change mine to my spinal column. Have you seen how terrible my posture is?
Ooh.
And you can't do anything without your spinal column.
Can I insure these?
It's the roadway to the...
The birds.
The point of him doing it off camera was that we laugh at it and nobody knows what he's doing.
I said there are birds in the room. Did you not know? You don't see that bird right there?
Hey, Play Harder doesn't like us anymore because he put one comment on there and we didn't respond to it.
Play
Oh,
harder.
cool.
Play harder. Here's the thing. You
should comment
don't
harder.
matter.
Oh,
These opinions are sole
Seth is
property
awful.
ownership
We
of
don't
Seth
mean that,
Martin.
Play
We don't
Harder.
believe in the opinions of
Seth
Seth
is-
Martin.
we
The
don't-
opinions of Seth Martin not
I didn't
owned
mean
or,
that. I didn't
or
mean that.
agreed upon by the governing body of Player 3 Podcast. All opinions of Seth Martin.
Man, what's your answer to the freaking question?
We
I
could be
think-
friends. He just paused.
I really want children, so I think if I had to insure one body
All
part,
right, moving on.
it would
Stop
be
Moving
my
on.
eyes. You guys are just minding the gutter. Good grief.
Your eyes.
no.
Because your
I'm not even
eyes,
addressing
they
this.
help you.
Whatever.
They help you
Because
to
of all of the blind
determine.
people who have
They help
never
you
had
to
children.
determine when. They help you to understand what time of the month it is, so that you can determine the ovulatory
All right.
period.
Wasn't there a
Zyger.
question we were going to address?
These microphones still work.
They don't work.
Zyger wants to know, what would be the one Valve property you want to see come with a third iteration of their game? Left 4 Dead, Portal, Half-Life, Counter-Strike, Team Fortress, or Dota? I think we all agree Dota.
I think we all agree Left 4 Dead.
Mine would be Left 4 Dead.
I think we all agree Half-Life.
Yeah,
I've never played any of the Half-Lives, and I
think-
think it would be cool to have a combined thing.
Zyger says, to be fair, eyes are the one part of the one of the few body parts that don't grow. So I guess you got that going for you.
True.
I don't know what that has to
Accepted.
do with anything
I'll show 'em.
because
Well,
there
I'll
are
watch
very
these-
few body parts that grow back.
Watch
so.
these bad boys grow.
But I think in a world where so many zombie games come out now, and it's just like open world, whatever, yada yada yada. There's space for the vignette of the Half-Life model.
We all know this. It's no big deal.
I don't like this episode. I am uncomfortable. I'm a little sad.
You've regressed.
There's been fighting. There's been
There's no fight.
Love. Apparently,
there's been weird love. There was a
was a
nap.
no.
Come on, skinny love.
Milky wants to know, do you have a favorite horror video game, or do you have a favorite obscure horror video game that you think never really got a good shot but could have been a great hit? Anything other than PT?
The Suffering. That was a great game. You go to prison for you play a character who has blackout rage, and you come out of your blackout and your wife and child have been murdered, and so you go to prison for this murder, and you're kind of trying to piece together if you actually killed them or not, while also harnessing the power of your blackout rage, which manifests as a monster on the island, to survive an island that has been cursed and is now the curse is visiting the island in the form of monsters that are representative of all the ways people have died on the island. So you've got like lethal injection or these poison syringe shooting monsters, and you've got the basic monster is a guy whose limbs consist of shivs.
Little shiv limbs.
Yeah, there's a dude that drops out of ceiling tiles to try to hang you. It's a real dark game. Really enjoyable though.
I really.
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Please.
I really enjoyed the Fear series. It's been a while, and I say the series. I only played the first one, but and I'm not really a big jump scare kind of guy. But the atmosphere that they generated as I think it's Fear 1, where you're in the hospital and you're trying to escape the hospital. Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed that.
I remember that too. I don't think I ever finished the first game, but I remember being kind of terrified. I really enjoyed Ethan Carter. I don't know if I wouldn't really call it a horror game, but I was just so unsettled by
We've got breaking news, but you continue.
Please.
Burger King. You can go get the black burger there, but you can also get a pumpkin spice Oreo shake.
What? Both sound gross.
Are we going to Burger King?
You can.
I might.
But I'm sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
I think I was done.
Ethan
I liked
Carter.
Ethan Carter. I wouldn't again say it was a horror game, but it just like I found myself like walking around in just the silence and like what's gonna happen next? Am I gonna find another astronaut running through a forest? You might. I won't tell you that.
I really enjoyed Outlast. I don't know if you guys remember that game, but you had to like all your entire point of view of that game was through a camera, and you had to like gather batteries for the camera to be able to see in the dark. And if you didn't have batteries for your camera in the dark, then you were blind. That was
Yet
was
another
really cool.
reason Ben will be insuring his eyes.
Yes. You can't see stuff. You fall in holes, and there's no way you're gonna have kids then.
I want to change mine.
Okay, change yours.
I don't ever think of this one first because I forget that it's not like a widely loved game. But Alan Wake, I don't think it got the attention it deserved. Although it had very positive praise, there wasn't enough of it. You guys need to love it.
Love it. All right, let's get out of here, guys.
No,
Because play harder hurt my feelings.
We love you,
I'm living in your basement.
even if Seth doesn't.
All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to come back next week for us. Seth's telephone number, by the way, is 276-732